Instagram and Twitter. I said their harmonies will melt your soul, but that's an understatement. It's Jatan live on Radio 104.5.
Don't cry no more, my dear. Don't you cry no more. I'll be waiting here, my dear. I'll be at your door.
It doesn't make any sense on radio, but I would literally throw myself at your feet right now. That was amazing.
Thank you.
What's up, guys? We're here in Austin, Texas at South by Southwest. We just performed not too long ago, had a great time. Now we're out here on the streets, stopping random people, just getting them to pronounce this word. You may know how to say it, but a lot of people don't. They mess it up all the time. So now we're trying to see what random strangers, when they see it for the first time.
We are live. What's up, everybody?
Live.
How's everybody doing? It is Tuesday, February 25th. I know that because yesterday was my birthday, February 24th.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. We're doing the Young Lion podcast once again, and yeah, let's get it rolling. Nothing to say.
Young lion, everywhere I look, they dying. Everywhere I look, they dying. Young lion, everywhere I look, they dying. Everywhere I look, they dying. Young lion, won't you get up and stop fighting? Everywhere I look, they're hiding.
Yeah, you are watching Young Lion TV, and we're here. We're live in Camden, New Jersey at True Sound Studios like we do it every Tuesday night. I want to say what's up to everyone who's watching in the chat room right now. In the Jatan chat, I got Mr. Fox, I got Mike Lopez, I got Yvette, I got Tisha Blue, and a bunch of other people that I don't see right now. What's up to everybody? If you like the stream, please just give it a thumbs up. Give it a heart, share it, all that good stuff. If you're watching on YouTube right now, you can subscribe, you can like, all that good stuff. You got anybody in
Stan Golden, Mike Jack.
What's up, y'all?
What up?
Make sure you share it. Let everybody know what's going on.
Official happy birthday.
Thank you,
to
man.
you. Yeah, man.
Thank you, man. 39 years old.
Dang,
Yeah.
39.
Yeah.
39. That's a good number.
Young.
I
That's
feel
young.
good, though, man.
That's young.
I feel good. I was running around playing soccer this weekend.
Nice.
Some good games.
I was saying to him that all his, 2, 24, 2020.
Yeah.
All twos because, 4, it all breaks down to 2. And then when you add it all together, breaks down to 3.
Yeah, yeah.
which is interesting. And the same thing with 39.
Yep.
3 plus 9, 12. 1 plus 2, 3.
Yeah, man, it's all just lining up for me, bro. I can't, it's just how things work. Thanks, Kathleen. Wish me a happy birthday. Thank you. What's up, Marco? Marco just checked in. Marco, we had a nice game with Marco on Sunday, man.
Yeah,
Marco.
It was fun playing with him.
Yeah.
He's playing now every week.
He plays usually.
When he doesn't
If
have
the league's not going on or he doesn't have something to do, he plays.
Yeah.
So,
I might come out one of these days.
Mario, too.
yeah, Mario was there.
Yeah, Mario.
Yeah.
Mario.
Yeah, people stop asking for y'all.
Yeah.
They just know y'all ain't showing up no more. You and Stan. Yeah, but so of course, let me do the introductions. We got Jake here. We got Simone here. We got Miss Rachel Rota on the ones and twos.
Yeah.
And I think Mr. Garcia, the half black, half Indian with the Spanish last name, is showing up pretty soon. His half black side is late. So
What's his Indian side?
his Indian side is smelling like curry.
That's messed up. That is messed up.
Hey, listen, we live together. I know that shit is facts. Okay. But yeah, so
I
earlier
actually
today.
made curry today. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, that's cool. That's what's up.
With coconut milk.
See, that's the difference. Asians use coconut milk. Well,
James
the islands
use-
they do too.
Yeah.
Did you use some sugar? Palm
No,
sugar?
no sugar.
No.
No
I'm
sugar.
on
You
that
skip the
keto.
sugar, yo.
Okay.
I'm on that keto.
Yeah. How is it without sugar?
It's cool. Well, I use a substitute. I use monk fruit and stuff like that.
Oh
too.
man, that's gross.
I like
You
it now.
ruined the curry with that.
I didn't put it in there though.
Oh, okay.
I there's some stuff I just go without sugar.
Yeah.
But sometimes I like a little sweetness in my coffee.
Tisha Blue says happy birthday. She said, "What did you do for your birthday?" Nothing much. I
Went out to eat.
I went out to eat. I had some crabs, which was good. I don't know if Rachel can find a picture of that real quick. Show the peoples
Crabs.
my little crab. I had some king crabs. We went to the place Pirate Crab right where Okimaki is by my crib.
Oh, okay.
You know they put a little seafood place in the same
yeah,
building.
I've seen it.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's actually good, Joe.
Is it?
Yeah, it's actually like the way they make the stuff is very flavorful. Like you can get the crab and you can get clams, mussels, crab, shrimp, and then they do like the baskets with the corn and the potatoes and the sausage.
Okay.
But then they have like different sauces you can get. You can get like a garlic sauce. You can get to something they call pirate sauce, which is what we got, which is like a spicy garlic. And then they have different heat levels. So
Okay.
of course, I got the fire, whatever the spiciest one.
Is
They-
it really fire?
it was spicy and it was good though. Like it wasn't just heat for the sake
Was
of
it?
heat.
What kind of spice?
It tasted more like like those little chili pepper spice, kind of like what the Asian people use.
Okay.
Yeah, the little small Thai chilies.
Yeah,
They're
like
actually
the
kind of
Thai
spicy.
chilies.
Those,
Yeah, they
the
are.
Thai chilies.
Yeah.
I like them.
But they have a different flavor than like habaneros or like,
All peppers have like different flavors.
I think I just put it up on my Instagram story.
I did. You did, but it's not there anymore. It
Oh,
disappeared.
it disappeared.
I look so yellow.
It's all right. That's just the TV.
Yeah,
bro.
you're all right.
That's just the TV.
Let
But
me-
yeah,
let
if
me
you want to check out you know what it reminded me of, because it was my birthday, so we're like, we're gonna get the king crab, the snow crab legs, and we got the clams, and like they came out with this big pile of like seafood, and then they give you like the buckets with the bibs and the gloves and everything, and then they give you the sausage you can dip it in. So it felt like, you ever see those mukbang videos?
Mukbang. No.
You never seen mukbang?
What is mukbang?
Yo, you gotta pull this up, Rachel.
What is
that?
mukbang?
Never heard of
Mukbang is like this. What's that right
Wow.
That's the place.
there?
That looks
That's
delicious.
the place right there. Yeah. So and they just randomly did it. Like Okimaki is just a ramen place where you can get sushi burritos or you can get ramen. And then like I remember one day they were just like, oh, we turned this whole side into a seafood restaurant. It was
Yeah,
like,
I remember seeing that. I was like, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Because
Yo, it's so weird how like Voorhees has like these eclectic restaurants
I know.
that
Literally, you can get anything you want
Yeah.
there in this little small town.
yeah.
I'm thankful because
I'm pretty jealous because
looks good.
Williamstown has nada. We have Geet's Diner.
So they bring it all out and it's all like mixed in with, and there's big chunks of like roasted garlic and butter and like
That
seasoning.
looks good.
It's good, man. It's really good. And we actually took Abigail there for her birthday, and you know she loves shrimp and crabs and stuff, so she got that. But I wanted to get the king crab.
Yeah.
Them legs are like this big. You pull that meat out, boy. It's like, yo.
And you know
it
I
was
love me
good.
some crab.
It was good. Like,
Let me ask you the most important question.
what? The price?
What is the price?
Well, it's what you would expect from like a seafood place like that. So, the king crab legs were. James is in the building.
Brother James.
The king crab legs were $32 a pound.
Okay.
So, and the snow crabs I think were like $22 a pound.
Okay.
The clams were $11 a pound. So you get it by the pound. But if you get a combo, it's like you can get like crab and clams with the potatoes and corn, and it's all like $30. It comes out in a big bucket.
Yeah, I went to what's the one in Defford? Was it Joe's?
Dude, that place is terrible.
Bro,
Yeah.
That place is a joke.
I easily dropped with my family.
Yeah.
Because my boys love crabs.
Yeah.
I easily dropped $200.
Damn.
With the tip. I think it was a little more than that.
Because
they
You know
wanted
you're gonna cry in that car.
Mon was crying, boy, that bill came.
You guys gotta understand. Jamie is saying "damn" like that because this is some money.
Because I know Mon.
This guy is
everywhere we
cheaper.
go, he is not trying to spend no money, boy.
How much is that taco? $2.
Yeah.
Pass on
At a
that.
seafood place, you can drop some money.
You can, but so we got the most expensive thing on the menu, the king crab, because it was my birthday.
Which place is this again?
The pirate crab
Oh, okay,
place.
okay.
You know where, right where coriander is and all of that. So
yeah, I haven't tried that yet.
it's actually good, dude.
Okay.
Like I would recommend it.
All right.
Because they have like you can get
show 'em the picture.
you can get the highest spice level
how seasoned
on. You can like they season it up and you
Yeah,
can get the
yeah.
highest spice level. It has roasted garlic.
Did they give you the look like? Are you sure?
Yeah. Well, the first time I went, it was an Asian dude, so he was like, I like this guy.
Yeah.
When we went last night, it was a black guy. He was like, I wouldn't do that. Like, because the Asian dude was hooking it up. We went there. He was like, what I'll do is I'll get you the pirate sauce
Right.
on the thing, and then I'll get you the fire sauce on the side so you can dip it in there and see, look, this is the place right there.
Oh, nice.
So, so he was hooking it up. So when I went there, I said,
Yeah,
yo,
it does look good.
I said, yo, last time I came, my man hooked it up, put the sauce on the side. He was like, but he didn't get it, so we had to keep like explaining it to him.
Right.
And then finally, he came and like gave us the sauce on the side, and it was cool.
All right.
Marco said he hasn't forgotten about you, Moon.
Marco.
Yeah, but
Mike Jack said, "Happy birthday, brother."
oh, thank you, Mike.
And Noel came in. Noel Tominski
Oh yeah, what's up, Noel?
and Marcus Ramser from high school.
Yo, Noel,
what's up, bro?
Tell your dad we miss him.
We miss her too.
Yeah, we miss you too, but we really miss your dad, especially on the soccer field.
Yeah,
We
playing with
talk
him
about
was
him
so much fun.
all the time on the soccer field.
Yeah, I miss Derek.
But what were we talking about? Oh yeah, so we got all that stuff, and she got like curly fries because she wanted some fries and stuff, and the bill was like $70-something. So yeah,
I might go there.
it wasn't that bad. I was expecting it to be like 100 and something because we went all out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now we got to talk about mukbang because
Yeah.
you never heard of mukbang.
Have you
I
heard of
never
that?
heard about
You
it.
ever heard of mukbang?
No.
Have you heard of mukbang?
Yo, there is this entire community on YouTube, and your sister actually showed me this, where they put all of this food in front of them. It started in Korea.
Okay.
You know, Asians
are weird.
they put all of this food in front of them, and people just watch them gorge themselves.
I think I've seen this.
You've seen
before.
this?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like it starts out with like people eating like live octopuses or like
yeah.
or octopi. How do you say it?
Octopi.
So it's like the steak challenge, basically.
I think. Wait,
But
I
there
think
is-
that might be. I think we
Look at Rachel's face.
Yo,
please show us what is making you
we
gasp.
just had that conversation. I forgot who it was. I think it might have been me and Nita was arguing because I said it was octopi, but she was like, I think it's octopuses.
No, I don't think so. I don't think it's
Octopuses?
octopuses.
Yeah,
Are you serious?
I think they changed it or
Octopuses,
something like that. That's what she was saying, but we never looked it up.
Hey,
That don't even sound
Sebastian.
right.
Marco says Sebastian says hi. What's up,
Sebastian?
Sebastian?
Sebastian.
Yo, Sebastian be killing it on the soccer field, bro.
Yeah,
Rachel, can you show us?
Okay.
You're just over there making
Okay.
reactions.
Sorry. Okay.
Okay, so that's the octopus one.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
see if you can find. There's this black lady who does all seafood, and she always does like massive amounts of crab.
Wait.
Yeah, so this is
Oh,
like
she
wait.
cooked
yo,
There's a Korean dude that does stuff like that with like food, and
dude,
they
it's a
crunch.
It's a whole thing. It's a whole like part of it is you have to get the right microphone so that they can hear you crunching and slurping.
Yeah.
And,
But is it
yo,
raw? Like just eating
no,
raw?
it's any food. It's any
Yeah.
like people will just some people will buy a bunch of pizza. Some people will buy like it's just about watching someone gorge themselves with massive amounts of food. They usually wear gloves and they go in with their hands.
Yeah, black gloves.
But there's a black lady who does it with seafood, and she has like these long fingernails, and she's like very country. So that was the one I saw. And when we had all that seafood in front of us, like dipping in the thing, it just was I felt like I was doing one of those videos because I was like,
you know who showed me? No, he actually showed me. There's this Korean guy.
yes, this lady here.
Yo, they have like 7 million views of people
Dude.
just watching this shit.
These people, she has like millions of subscribers, bro.
Kind of like trying to let them chill,
And this is
Chill,
all.
y'all,
This is
chill.
what she
This
look at. She got the
hot.
long nails, and she just.
but it's so good.
All she does is like she'll order these giant crabs like this big, and then just eat them on camera.
Yeah, I definitely hear the microphone.
Yeah, it's all about that. It's about.
You should just splash yourself in the face.
But there's a whole community of people that are obsessed with these videos.
It's kind of crazy.
Like they just love watching people like smack and eat and
I saw the ones where they eat a lot of well, it's mostly Korean. They eat a lot of the raw stuff. And
Yeah.
there's this one like huge sea creature that when you bite into it, it looks like a big like private part.
I think I know what you're talking
When
about.
you bite into
the
it,
gooey duck.
it like
The gooey
sprays
duck.
out all
Yeah, it's
this-
a gooey duck.
What the
Yeah.
hell is
Yeah.
a gooey duck?
You ever seen that?
Look-
It's like
look-
a giant.
Look up
Yeah.
a gooey
Looks
duck,
like
It-
Rachel.
it's
it's
crazy.
an
Wang.
oyster, right? A type of oyster. I think.
Yeah, John said ASMR. What's up, John?
Yeah, ASMR.
John got the top fan. John, don't try to school me on audio terms. You think I don't know what ASMR is? This guy just started going to school for this stuff, and he trying to school me.
That'd
No,
be
I think that's
ASMR.
what they. That's what I heard it. That's what they call it. I think
No,
that's what Noah said.
That's
it
what
was.
the audio style is.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
There's other videos in ASMR where it's like whispering videos. Or like someone will
Yeah.
be tickling the microphone with feathers. It's weird. Like you ever
Yeah,
see those
weird
whisper
stuff.
videos?
There are some weird people.
And yo, they have millions of followers. They just listen to people like whisper on the mic. They say like, "Yeah, now I'm touching." Them.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. That's mukbang
Yeah.
right there, boy.
That does look like a.
That's a gooey. That's a gooey duck. Yeah. And then when you bite it, it squirts out all this. Yo, Moon, why are Asians so weird with food?
I don't know.
Look, look.
Oh, that one didn't shoot out a lot of stuff.
Yo.
I don't know.
Yo. Come on, people. That thing is alive, bro. So
Wait. So
it's a shellfish.
it's coming out
and
of
it
the.
comes out of the shell like that. Yeah.
The hell she pouring? What's that? Soy sauce?
That's just some sauce, man. This is the mukbang.
It's like she putting chilies on it.
The mukbang. The mukbang.
Look at the water that's like shooting.
Yeah.
So weird.
It's probably some.
See?
Look.
Oh my gosh. Yo.
Hey, yo.
Look at all that makeup they
That's
got
what
on
I'm
their
saying.
face.
I was gonna say she's one of them people that peels her whole face off after this
Yeah.
video.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That is nasty.
But anyway, so I felt like I was in the middle of one of them videos last night because I actually ate too much crab, bro. I was like feeling a little nauseous afterwards.
Feeling like Saquon.
Yeah. But it was good. It was worth it.
Asian people, man, why are we so nasty?
John said, I didn't know that. I just know it from YouTube. Oh, okay. So you didn't learn that in school.
That's nasty.
But anyway, so that's all I did for my birthday. Who was asking that? Kathleen? Oh, no, it was Tisha.
That's right, Kathleen. Then you get to see a Asian lady bite a gooey duck for asking that question.
She says, I always have to make sure I eat before I watch you all go live. Because we always talk about Yo, yes, we do.
We don't plan this stuff. This is all
Yeah.
freestyling right now.
Jalissa Cruz is watching. What's up, Jalissa?
Stan said, looks like coronavirus to me. That's why, man, ain't that the truth,
wait
dude?
a minute,
That
though.
is why, that's why all the shit comes from China, because they eat some weird shit.
That is
man.
true, but what are we
What
watching now?
is this?
What is
It got
this?
stuck on her face while she was trying to eat it.
Oh, yeah,
Apparently.
it's an
That's
octopus.
what she gets.
It's trying to kill her now. Of course, it's fighting for its life.
Yeah.
All right, I'm happy I saw this.
When Mukbang strikes back.
It's pulling off her fake makeup.
Mukbang bangs you. Yeah, dude, I saw some articles. Do you know that the coronavirus,
I was wondering if we were going to talk about this. Go ahead.
well, first of all, it's getting a little. The reports are getting more and more intense, which is kind of crazy. But I find it very weird that like the one facility in China where like they do all of the testing for like diseases and all of the like, you know, they do all the culturing, they do all of the like what we have in the CDC here. It's all in Wuhan, in China, which is where coronavirus originated. It's actually the center is right across from the fish market where they say it happened at.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
And there's a lot of reports that are speculating that this is a man-made virus.
Nothing
Yeah.
to see here.
Nothing to see
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
And at the same time, it's like, how convenient is it that now this virus has taken all of the attention off of it's totally halted the protest now. The protest is over because of this virus. Everyone had to get quarantined. And it's like,
There was something that came out a couple months ago, and it was like some like weird like dark net type thing
yeah.
where there was stuff that came out. Somebody leaked stuff about China trying to bring in some kind of virus thing into the United States, like to wipe out a lot of the United States, and they were just gonna like kind of move in somehow. Like,
And what happened is one of the guys that was working on that virus went to go eat some, what was the soup they said he was eating?
I don't know.
Because they claimed the virus came from some soup. Like some soup that wasn't cooked properly or something like that.
I thought it was
don't know.
bat.
Rachel,
Bat.
that's
bat
what it is.
or something.
Bat soup. It was
Was
like
it
bat
bat
soup.
soup?
Yeah,
Wow.
that's what it was. So
Why are we eating bats?
Because, man,
That's
you ain't never want to try
we can
no
eat
bat.
whatever we want.
hell no.
You ain't never want to try. Yo, I'm
Like a little
I
rat.
feel like I'm always been that weird. Like even when I was a kid, do y'all watch Indiana Jones when y'all were kids?
Yeah.
This is something that has always stuck in my mind.
Talk about
Remember that scene from Indiana Jones when he's like out?
Temple of Doom.
Not Indiana Jones. What am I talking about? Crocodile Dundee. Totally different movie.
I'm thinking he's talking about Temple of Doom.
No.
You know when they're
Yes.
the
Monkey brains.
the monkey
Monkey
brains.
brains, yeah.
That not a fan, but Crocodile Dundee. Y'all remember that movie?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Cheesy movie, but classic, right?
That's not a knife.
This is a
knife.
So there's a scene in that movie. I don't know. Maybe Rachel can find it. There's a scene in that movie that has always like been imprinted in my memory of like he was out by a fire and he like kills a bat and he eats the bat.
Yeah, yeah.
And in my mind,
I watched that movie.
when did that movie come out? We were
80 something.
80s.
we were
Yeah.
like children,
Yeah,
right?
80
So I
something.
remember seeing that and I was thinking like, man, I want to try that. Like that's what I
Right,
thought.
right,
I want to try that bat.
But
Like,
they've been doing that. The thing is that people have been eating that kind of way for thousands of years. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
that's what I'm saying. So to me, even as a kid, I'm thinking like, if he's eating that and they eat like that, like I want to try it too.
yeah.
You know, and I've always been like, that's why I like always want to try weird stuff because I have my limits, but
I mean,
Stan did say it was bat soup.
to be honest
Yeah.
with you, it depends on the bat. Because some bats only eat fruits.
Yeah.
You know?
right,
Yeah.
fruit bats
Yeah.
probably taste delicious.
Yeah.
They probably taste
Some-
like
might-
a
some
Gucci.
bats, some bats are sucking on blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, vampire bats. That's a different thing.
Yeah.
In fact, if people saw what chickens do,
Right.
Chickens-
Ain't that a funny thing?
Yeah.
Like people swear like, oh, pigs are so filthy.
Chickens eat
are
anything.
probably dirtier than pigs.
Yeah. Well, the chickens that we get are mostly feeding on corn.
That's true.
Yeah.
Which is not good for you anyway. But
Yeah. Right.
but they will cannibalize too
Yeah.
if they're left long enough.
Absolutely. They'll
will.
cannibalize. They eat anything.
Yeah, I've seen chickens eat snakes. I've seen them eat.
Yeah, they
You
eat
know.
bugs. They eat worms.
Yeah, they're really the chicken itself is really a jungle fowl
Right.
that they kept on breeding and breeding and breeding. But for thousands of years, like in Trinidad, they eat like possum there. Like in the South, they eat possum, raccoons.
Yeah.
They're a lot of scavengers. Those
They
animals
eat
are
that
scavengers.
here in the South,
To
too.
be honest with you, even seafood, it's really like crustacean.
Yeah.
It's really
Lobsters.
eating crustacean is like eating a
Bugs of the
roach.
sea.
They used to
Yeah,
used to
that's
feed
what they call
lobster to prisoners,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
well, that's why, in
Leviticus.
the Torah, you can't eat any of that
Yeah,
stuff.
those things are scavengers.
Mike Lopez says it's called survival. It's very true.
Yeah.
And that true because for how long these people were doing that, it becomes tradition.
Right.
You don't have to eat no bat, but it becomes.
It becomes
Yeah, know what I mean?
you grow a taste for it now.
Yeah.
Like
we talk about that all the time with
your
a tradition.
culture.
Yeah,
A
my
lot of
my
the
culture,
stuff-
slave culture.
Yeah,
Right.
the what's the
Chitlins?
food? No, the
Oh.
Cambodians tarantulas.
Yeah,
Tarantulas.
was one of the
They
things.
eat termite eggs.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
that
but
all
the
came from-
tarantulas, I was watching something on that. Like, well, a lot of the stuff, the insects and the tarantulas, it all came from, the late 70s, early 80s.
Yep.
When everyone
'Cause
was
they ain't had
starving, there was no
they ain't
food.
had nothing to eat.
And it
With
became,
bugs.
and it became like their own thing.
Your mom said she was eating bugs and leaves.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
I mean, soul food,
Yeah.
same type
A
of
lot
deal.
of soul food.
Yeah.
Chitlins.
I'm not
Bugs,
eating them.
especially because bugs are high in protein. You know, so yeah, you would. It's basically food that you were forced to eat when you had to survive, and then if you do it long enough, it becomes a thing.
Right.
You've been a part of our family for a long time. When my dad cooks, he burns the crap out of stuff
To smithereens.
Right?
Right.
to the point where you're probably not getting nutrients from it, but that's just what it was because
That's how he likes it.
Right,
He
and-
wants his meat burnt up.
Right, but you know why too? Because where how he grew up, he didn't have natural gas, so he didn't have a knob or a dial to turn it up to 6 or 7.
Right.
It was just raw
On the flame,
fire,
yeah.
and you can't control that. Once wood starts to burn and you put a pot over it, there's no you can't control. You take out some if you want to, but it's
If
gonna.
you stop paying attention for 5 minutes, it's burnt up.
Yep.
Then you start developing the
What are you
that
gonna do?
taste.
Throw it away? Hey,
Right.
this one isn't cooked too much. Let's get some more. You kind of were forced to do that.
A lot of cultures, though, like Puerto Ricans, even like with, Black African American from the South, they all cook their meat.
Yeah, but white
Pretty
people
well
too.
done.
White people in the South eat that stuff too.
Right.
I think it's just what you would, because you couldn't just kill. I think we take for granted that we have a grocery store that we could go.
And the meat is kept at
Yeah.
the perfect temperature.
We live in another realm.
No,
we really do.
There's
Yeah.
no
We
bones
really do.
on the.
Yeah,
on the
like a
meat.
lot of times, especially in the poor communities, like you had to cook your meat to all the way to smithereens
You had
because
to.
you might catch some parasites
Yeah,
or something. You
right.
know what I mean? You had to make sure you kill everything in that meat.
Yeah.
That's why it's funny. Like we were talking to Jason last week on the podcast. And remember he was talking about veganism and like certain lifestyles, and we were saying like, let one pandemic break out, and you'll see how fast everyone is like, just give me whatever. Like veganism go because it's such a diet of privilege. No, it is. It's a diet of privilege. You have to have a certain level of privileged lifestyle to be able to be that picky about what you eat.
Right,
You know what I
right,
mean?
right.
Like when you see any of these like poor communities or these tribal cultures, like yo, they're growing or eating whatever they can catch. You know what I mean?
Because we're being voyeuristic through the TV, watching them
Yeah.
eat that stuff. I wouldn't eat that.
Yeah.
But I remember working in the grocery store, and I remember some of the buyers, and I think I said this to Jason last time, was the amount of food that is thrown away because it's not aesthetically pleasing.
Right.
It's a mind blowing. You know. And in those cultures, eating bats or certain things like what was it, the blowfish or whatever they eat, it just becomes a tradition over time, and they do it.
And then it becomes like this sought after delicacy.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like, and there's European cultures that do the same thing. Like,
Right.
You know, in Italy, there's cultures that eat like all the organ meats, and you know, in France they eat
What do they call
snails and
that
stuff
duck
like that.
stuff?
Pate.
Pate.
Yeah.
Even the
That's it.
Foie gras.
Blood sausage.
Or the
Yeah.
goose liver. One of my friends, he's a Filipino. He said back in their culture, they don't do it all the time, but whenever it's like a festival or something big, like a big event, the men they'll kill and eat a dog. It's like it's part of the
Well,
thing.
we know Asians eat dogs
They really
all
do.
the time.
But he just said the way it's more of like, hey, the fellas, we're getting together.
Yeah.
You know.
How do they choose? Do they take someone's pet? Or
No,
do
they raise them.
They raise them to
In
be.
Africa, they do it too.
Yeah.
I mean, any culture.
Yeah.
Shit, listen.
Yo, John was telling me, I don't know how true this is, because sometimes, you know, I'm sure he's watching. You could chime in and let me know the facts on this. But he was telling me when he was in Japan that like they had vending machines where like the breed of dog was like a picture of the dog would be on there, and you could get like the jerky meat, you know what I mean? From like you can get like bulldog or like Rottweiler, you know what I mean? Like
Poodle.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's what he told me.
What?
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
see if he chimes in on that.
But that's what it is. It's just culture, man.
Yeah,
It's
it
just
is.
culture.
And what's you know barbaric to us is
Yeah.
normal to someone else.
Right.
It's all just subjective.
Well, like you said, if there was a major crisis, you ain't getting no arugula salad.
Yeah.
Nope.
You know.
I mean,
What are
I
you
think there's
gonna do?
definitely reasons why you shouldn't eat.
Oh,
certain
absolutely.
things.
Oh,
Listen,
John said I'm wrong. Okay. He didn't say vending. I swore you told me it was a vending machine and the packaging.
He's cleaning it up. That's on the internet.
Why
Had-
you always lying?
He said at a store. What was the difference? So but am I wrong though? Was it on the packaging where you could see the breed of the dog? Did I get that right? Because you did tell me they have some weird vending machines there. I'm sure he'll answer soon.
But yeah, that's what it is.
Is this the clip you're talking about?
Oh, that's one of the parts, yeah, where the Aborigine guy is eating bat.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it says needs garlic.
Yeah, it needs garlic. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
That was a line.
Yeah, it needs garlic.
Yeah.
He's like, how is that? White dude asked him, how is that? Needs garlic.
Garlic.
Yeah, classic, man.
Yeah.
But I just remember being a kid and being like, I want to try that.
Right.
Always been a weirdo.
You're a one man band on that one. Right, gang? No.
I just kept that to myself. I never.
Right.
That's one of the things that I remember. I remember that night. I don't know why I remember this, but that night after watching that movie, my mom made barbecue chicken, and I was in my mind pretending the chicken was bat.
We used to do that.
Yes.
You remember?
Right.
Like we used
Yes.
to pretend.
We used to pretend we're like camping somewhere,
Yeah.
eating wild meat.
Well, that's kids do that.
Yeah.
But
But I
even in
really was wishing it was. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
In Trinidad, we do that. Like around Christmas time, the holidays, we go hunting for what we call wild meat, which is basically jungle wild
Right.
animals, and you eat them,
yeah,
and it becomes a thing, you know.
yeah. See if you could pull up a picture of an agouti.
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 Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And this is what I ate when I was in Trinidad.
Yeah. My uncle.
Your uncle caught
this.
it. It was
He
when
stewed it.
we got up at 5 o'clock in the morning. That thing was already skinned and sitting there waiting for us.
You showed the picture.
I
think you
did.
put
I
it
have
up
a picture on
Instagram,
my Instagram of it,
which was like
people were going crazy.
Yeah.
because it's skin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you see its teeth, and it's like looks like
Yeah.
like
When-
this is
when did he catch
demonic.
Were you guys there when he caught it?
No.
No, yeah.
He already had his skin when we got up, and that's it right there.
So
It's a member of the squirrel family. It's
looks like a
basically
squirrel and a
yeah.
rat
Looks like
and a
a
rabbit.
But it's
mixed
bigger.
together.
It's about this
Yeah, it's
big.
big, yeah.
So
So it's a nice size.
You would think it's like a little squirrel, but
Yeah.
it's about this big. So
But it's healthy. It eats. It basically eats fruits and like
Yeah.
nuts and stuff like that. It's not. You know.
yeah, they were saying it eats mango a lot.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was good.
Yeah.
You know.
I'd eat it.
You can tell.
I'll try it.
Yeah.
I would probably try a rat too.
I
Or
tried
not a rat,
also-
bat.
I also tried something called matapel. See if you can look that up. When I was in Trinidad, matapel.
I don't think that's the right name for it. I think that's there.
But I'm sure
But it'll probably come up.
Probably.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll
I
come
don't know how
up.
to spell that.
I'm sure it'll come up. MATAPEL. Yeah. No, you don't see
Nothing.
It's
It's some kind of lizard. It's,
called-
like
it's
a monitor lizard or something.
no, they had that wrong. It's an anteater.
Oh, anteater.
It's an
Okay,
anteater.
that's what it was.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's an anteater. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, because the monitor lizard is what do you call that?
We call it a mat.
A mat. Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, I wouldn't.
They have
Got
monitor
these
lizards.
I
these
would
weird
need that.
voodoo names for these things.
But yeah, it is. People eat what's available to them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think we take for granted. Like growing up in Trinidad or whatever. Like there was no Wendy's around the corner.
Right.
There was no.
Right.
You know what I mean? You have to kind of eat what's available.
Yeah. Especially when you're like out in the jungle like that.
Right.
It's probably a Wendy's now.
You know what? You know what's
Actually,
funny?
not in his village.
Yeah. So those fast food, there's only one fast food chain that survived.
KFC.
KFC.
Why does that?
Because they black out there, bro. They black.
We've seen every island that we've been on. I've seen a KFC.
KFC is
right?
on every
Yeah.
island. Yo,
Every
more than
island.
McDonald's.
It don't
Yeah.
work.
More than McDonald's,
Yeah,
bro.
no
More than
burgers.
McDonald's.
Burgers don't work.
Yeah.
It's some
Where
reason.
were we?
We were just in the
Grenada,
Bahamas. Grenada's had
Bahamas
KFC.
had-
Bahamas had KFC.
Because chicken is relatable, but like beef patties and stuff, it's not relatable.
Y'all ain't used to eating that condensed amount of meat in one place,
No,
like
no.
especially with no bones. Like
Yeah.
it's weird.
Yeah.
To
We like
that
bones.
culture. Yeah.
But there are other cultures. I don't think Burger King or McDonald's. I think India. Some other, I think Japan. They don't work in certain cultures.
Yeah.
Like they have to
Well,
change the
different things.
yeah
They
the
do like
menus.
lamb burgers.
Right,
in
right.
the Middle East, I know, and in Japan they have a different burger.
Right.
Yeah. Even Bahamas, there was a McDonald's or Burger King.
No, there was a Burger King.
and they had some special burger in the Bahamas that we don't have.
Right.
I remember. I don't even remember.
Yeah, I don't remember what it
but
was.
I saw it and I was like, oh, that's different. We don't have that.
Blue cheese something.
It was a blue cheese,
Right.
cheese.
bacon blue cheeseburger.
That's when dude was walking out and he dropped his nuggets and he thought about it at first. He was like,
he
should
wasn't
I
wasting
eat
that
it?
money. He dropped them nuggets on the ground, picked them things up, and ate them. Yeah. I said I did the same thing, bro.
But it's like when you guys had that conch, right?
Yeah.
Like most people won't try that the way it looks, but if you carve that up and decorate a plate,
Yeah.
they'd eat it.
You go to a 5-star restaurant and that conch is displayed with some nice flowery, you know what I'm saying?
That's
the
what
little,
it is.
The little sauce that they do, the little crest.
That's
like,
what it is.
That you'll pay $80 for.
Yeah, I guarantee if you take that same bat that guy is gnawing on there and you cut that up in a certain way and
Yeah.
you garnish that plate,
Yeah.
Gordon Ramsay would be like, fine dish, I tell you.
I tell y'all all the time, like some of the stuff that y'all eat that y'all consider like poor people food, like bull jaw,
Yeah.
the sawfish stuff that y'all eat. If you took that and put it on like a fancy crusted bread
Yeah.
with like olive oil drizzle,
Yeah, I agree. I think it's
all
visual.
about-
it's
I think
just
it's visual.
presentation,
all about-
man.
yeah.
Like
I think it is.
That's like the show. What is that? Brain Game. There
Yeah.
was an episode where
I know exactly what you're going to
Yeah.
say. I saw that.
where they had one restaurant was a shitty little restaurant and the other one was a fine, and they would plate it up nice.
The food was the same.
Same
they
exact- same
served
food.
the same exact food
Yeah,
in both
yeah.
restaurants.
Yeah.
One was served on fancy plates, fancy restaurant decor and everything. The other one was served on paper plates
Yeah.
with plastic
forks and stuff.
And then they had them rate the food. And the one in the shitty restaurant, the food was terrible. The one in the fancy restaurant, the food was amazing. They paid twice as much for it and were happy about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just because of it was just showing like
Yeah.
it's all perception.
Social
man.
conditioning too.
Yeah.
See, that's one thing. Yeah, that's certain people won't fall for that.
Like me.
Yeah.
I don't care how fancy
Yeah,
the
yeah.
place is. If the food's not good, I'm like,
Right.
not worth it.
Yeah.
I remember a long time ago there was this restaurant in Philly called Le Bec Fin. Have you guys heard of that?
I have, but
Yeah.
I never been there though.
I went there one time. It was a French. I've yet to be impressed with French cuisine. I think artistic, yeah. But if you're hungry and a plate is
Yeah.
$170,
Oh yeah.
That's what we were talking about that last week. The
Yeah.
only thing I like from French cuisine is the sauces.
The sauce.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's
Yeah.
all they got.
but that's what I realized. That whole fine dining thing, it's really objective.
It's a class thing,
it's
I feel like.
Yeah,
It's like-
Subjective.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you mean.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Subjective. It was
Yeah.
like you're looking at that and you're saying to yourself, I just spent all this money. I'm still hungry.
Right.
Because it's a big plate with like a little You know what I mean?
A smudge. Little smudge.
Yeah.
My mom said the agouti is a rat. Yuck. It's not a rat.
Not a
Mom.
rat.
No, it's
And
not.
please,
Rats eat whatever.
People in Puerto Rico eat stuff like that too.
Right.
So, don't turn your nose up. Plus, you're from New York. You
She's
know how
New
many
York, I
rats?
was gonna say.
You know how many rats live in here? I saw a documentary. There's more rats in New York than people.
Oh man.
Wow.
Yuck.
Yeah.
But we know if there was a crisis, what they'd be eating.
Yeah.
We go rat hunt.
Yo, you could literally just scoop up all the rats live
Yeah.
everywhere.
Dude, they're crazy. There's a thing of a rat taking down a pigeon.
Yeah.
And beasting the pigeon.
Yeah, I saw
The-
that video.
The rat like destroyed the
Yeah.
pigeon. Like he's eating the pigeon.
Yeah.
And you know it's not the first time.
Yeah.
You know?
Can
Dude.
we find that video? I want to
See if
see
you
it.
can find it. And the documentary that I saw, they like in the middle of the night, they went around, in New York, people just put the trash bags on the curb. So the rats are smart. They know the whole system of the city. So they know when people aren't around. So they were going up to the trash bags and just shaking them, and you would see all the rats inside the trash bags going crazy. Like they were everywhere, bro.
Yeah.
They were everywhere. They come out at night.
Yeah.
They come from their little holes under the buildings and the sewers. They get into the restaurants. They eat whatever they can.
Right.
It's like there's
Rats are-
millions,
rats are
hundreds
smart.
of millions of rats in New York City.
I saw a video. I'm just thinking about this because we got raccoons to try get into our stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
At your house now?
Yeah.
Oh really? Oh.
But there were raccoons, 2 raccoons, like destroying. I think it was either a wolf or a coyote.
Damn.
Yo, they were taking it to this coyote.
You saw it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually know it's funny you just said that. I saw a coyote today. I didn't realize that they're back.
No, someone brought them into New Jersey.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we talked about this before.
Yeah, someone
Yeah.
brought them in to control the population of something else, right? Something
I
else
think
was
was it
deer, I think. But now then the coyote population started.
It's the first time I saw one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the rat beasting this pigeon. John Jones style.
wait a sec. Now they're in the bush, and now the pigeon's
Oh,
trying to
we
make a
got-
fucking getaway. Fly up, fly up.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah. Who'd ever thought that, right?
Yeah, man.
I didn't know rats hunt like that.
Dude, they do.
Yeah.
Now he's leaving.
Yeah.
Damn.
And the pigeon is bigger than him.
Right.
Got himself a meal. Why didn't the pigeon just fly away? Stupid.
Pigeon, what's up, man? What's up?
Yeah, but so I want to talk about this morning. I want to get into this discussion. This morning I was on this panel for because it's Black History Month, and the students at Woodbury High School have this not black small business, just a small business and entrepreneurial class that they have in high school, which I thought was interesting because we didn't have that in high school. And I think it's important.
An official class?
Yeah, it's like
Oh, wow,
a class
okay, yeah.
about teaching them what that means to be an entrepreneur and
Right.
to open a small business and take that path in life instead of the college path or whatever.
Right.
So, or both simultaneously. I don't know the ins and outs, but this was the class that they brought there, and they wanted the panel to be like African American business owners talking on the panel. So they
You're African American? I didn't know that, James.
Well, the funny thing is, like, nowadays, a lot of the kids that were, like, black in the class look like me. So they didn't have no question, But, a lot of people... when Jamila asked me to do it, our guitar player, Jordan's wife, is the one who did the thing. So she was like, "Are you black?" I was like, what do you think?
Right.
But, yeah, and then I was like, well, I was president of the African American Culture Club in my high school. Does that give me the credibility?
It's funny because you think about the other people on the panel. Like, just like, do you have a right to be here? Like,
No, they were all.
I don't know
they,
if you have the right to
I don't
be.
think so. I think you know what's funny is like black people always assume I'm black. I've never gotten that
Yeah.
from black people. Black people are never like, "Are you black?" Like they always just assume I'm black.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I
People
think,
have asked me
yeah,
about you.
about
Yeah.
me.
Yes.
Like what?
Like, is he black? Like, is he?
But like who?
Dude, I don't remember. It's just in passing, like people like
Black
so-
people?
So do you guys have the same dad? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I get that because we look so different.
Yeah, but also
You're
like,
right though. Like, I known these dudes forever. Like Jamie never really got questioned about being black,
Yeah.
but Jake, on the other hand,
Right.
like they thought he
think
was
he's
like
Puerto Rican.
straight Puerto Rican.
which is not a race. Also,
Right,
Yeah.
right.
yeah.
But I know what they mean though.
Yeah.
Because Jake doesn't really. Yeah. I could see it more.
I look more like slave rapey kind of slave rapey vibes.
The nose is a little more.
Yeah,
Jake
Right.
got the more straight nose, pointy nose, Puerto Rican.
yeah.
but
But that's
Rapey.
but that's the truth though.
Yeah.
That's in our history.
yeah,
You look more. You look like a traditional light skinned black dude. Jake looked
Very
like you put some
light-skinned.
bag of oranges in his hand.
Or if Jake wears a tight sweater and some khaki pants.
oh yeah, listen, AIDS is a killer.
Or sweatband
Remember that?
tuxedo
Remember that?
shoes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, listen, AIDS is a killer.
Yo, as soon as you started talking, Jamila started. She's watching now.
Oh
What's
wow.
up, Jamila?
Yo, it's like Facebook notifies people like
Yeah.
someone's talking about you. Yeah, so she asked me if I was black. I told her I had to drop my African American Culture Club president card. Like, is this black enough?
Right.
Uh,
Right.
But no, the panel was cool. It was like talking to kids about. I was trying to connect with them more about just the opportunity that they have,
Right.
and the ability to go into business for yourself and have all of these resources at your disposal through online. You know what I mean? Like I know you starting your construction, but a lot of the stuff that you didn't know you could gain access to from YouTube. Like,
absolutely,
you did your all your legal paperwork with LegalZoom, right?
Yeah.
Like that. Can you imagine if we had all that stuff?
Yeah.
You know, it's a different world now.
Yeah,
So
it
I was
is.
trying
It
to
is.
just tell them like, yo, be into that. Like really be researching that. I was talking to the one kid who wants to be a photographer. And I like pulled him to the side. I'm telling him like, yo, you gotta really like you have so much time to really learn your craft and get good and figure out what it is you're gonna bring to photography. Because there's a million people with cameras now.
Yeah.
You got to figure out like what are you going to bring to photography? What are you going to do on social media that's going to connect with a fan base or an audience that wants you to take pictures or wants to talk about the pictures that you take. You got to show some kind of passion other than that I like to take pictures.
Right.
You know what I mean? So he was like, yeah, that's good advice. Thank you. Because you could tell I'm asking him like what he knows, and it's really not much. He's young, you know what I mean? He's in high school. He likes taking pictures. That's all he knows. It's like, yo, you can learn everything there is to know about photography before and be ahead of the game from all the other photographers out there, you know?
Yeah.
So I was trying to connect with them on that level, like explain to them, like, market yourself on social media. Find what it is you want to do.
Right.
Because the other two panelists, they were kind of more from the college background and like talking about, you know, structuring your business and, you know, and it's a different world now, man. Like you don't have to have a store anymore.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's the problem. That's the thing is we grew up in a generation where we didn't have access to this stuff. The only way we'd have access to it is through higher education, or if it was a family business being passed down.
Right.
But now, like you said, with the internet and access, there are certain sites that are dedicated. If you wanted to learn accounting, you could go there and learn that. And there's a lot of avenues where you can really perfect your business and streamline what you want to learn, what's wasting time, what's not wasting time. Like, to be honest with you, college itself, a lot of the classes is a big waste of time.
Right.
You know?
There's a lot of fluff in there.
There's a lot of fluff
that
in
they
there.
use to get
What do I need
tuition
with,
out of you.
I'm going for construction. What do I need with world history?
Right.
Or whatever it is. I'm going for building science or CAD.
James, you got to know where this wood came from.
The Greeks used
You
this.
got to know.
Yeah, come on, man. You're wasting people's time. So you could really streamline.
And a lot of, like, we were talking to, I forget who, but a lot of these corporations now aren't requiring college degrees anymore because they're realizing that by the time these people graduate, they're already behind the curve.
Right.
Yeah, and they have to train them,
especially in the
again.
tech fields. Yeah,
Right. Well, what it said, what I've heard, and I don't know how true this is, but it said that as time went on, people as technology grows, people also perfect cheating too.
Yeah.
So they figure out ways to pass those tests. They figure out ways to store the information,
Or get
for
someone else to
Get
write their
someone else to do
papers
it.
for them. Like
It's not what we think it is.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing like someone did a thing recently. I can't remember the person's name, but how many people are on Adderall?
Oh yeah,
And
that's a huge.
okay, so you graduate now, and you've taken all these tests through Adderall or whatever it is. That's been your assistance, but now you're in the workplace. Now you got to get projects done.
Yeah,
what do you do?
There's been a lot of articles written about, especially like coders and people in the tech field and people in journalism that are just hooked on Adderall.
Right.
Like that's how they get through their day.
That's how they got through, and they got through college like that. How it's that movie Limitless was sort of touched on that.
Yeah.
You know, you can't function, and this guy went on to be a mayor. At the end of the movie, he was a mayoral candidate. Right?
Yeah.
So it's that same thing. It's not what we thought. Higher education is not what it was presented to be. It's starting to be exposed.
I think it was at first.
I'm sure, yeah.
And then, like anything, once it becomes way too flooded, then the supply and demand thing doesn't work anymore.
Right.
So now there's all these people graduating with degrees.
Yep.
How do you distinguish between them? Like, who gets the jobs? You know what I mean?
You know what was like what Liz tell us all the time. You know, she's been in the retail field for so long. You get a kid coming out of college, and he's now in this, or he or she's now in this business, and they really don't. It's not practical application.
They have
no
experience.
You know,
they have no, and that's the same thing in tech that has become the problem. It's like just because someone is good at passing tests doesn't mean that they can be a vital part of your company. You know what I mean? Tim Pool was talking about that. I was watching one of his videos because he was talking about how college degrees are becoming obsolete now. He did like a whole article. He was reading an article about that, and he talked about with his company. His company he built from the ground up. Like now he's got a couple $1 million sponsored. You know, I think he had one of the fastest raised campaigns on like GoFundMe or something for his company. And he was talking about how like he would rather hire someone who worked their way up in Starbucks and like became a manager just through like go-getter mentality and hard work than someone who's fresh out of school and has no work experience, because they have nothing to offer you. They just know how to, they still need you to tell, they know how to follow directions. They know how to be told what to do and how to pass tests, but they don't know how to just they don't know how to solve problems on their own. You know what I mean? Like that college doesn't teach you that necessarily. And it can, I'm sure it can. I'm sure there are programs that do that, but for the most part, you know, what they're saying is that like the correlation between you're good at passing tests and writing papers doesn't necessarily equate to you being a part of the company that.
I think the one good thing that it does is it links you up with companies in terms of internships and stuff like that.
It absolutely
to
does.
get you in the door,
and it also puts you around other people in your field. Yeah. Like as you advance through college, now all of the people, and one of the ladies on the panel today was talking about that. They're like, you're now all of your
like a networking.
Yeah. So all of your classmates are also in your work field, and if they go on to you have these connections with them.
That's what it is.
You
and that's one of the biggest things. It's networking.
Yeah.
And also a lot of the schools, what they can provide is the partnerships they have with other companies,
right?
Which can be useful.
Yeah. Right.
But in terms of but again, it's more like you spend this money with us, we're going to hold your hand through the process.
Right.
But there's no need for a go-getter. I remember being in the production class or the engineering class and just amazed at how many guys were in there sleeping and not paying attention.
They're just there to get the grade.
Yeah.
But there was a couple students that are in there and
really
you could tell they're
yeah.
into it. And it was the same thing today. Like there's barely any of those kids were engaged. You know what I mean? Like they probably don't really care about
You reach a couple.
owning a business. But there's a couple kids in there that were paying attention and you could tell they cared. You know?
Well, I think for me, what I've noticed is this. The main thing with being an entrepreneur, and people think it's fun, but when they realize that it's the true hard work is gonna fall on them. Right. They're like, I rather work. I rather just show up, get paid, and leave and go home. Because being an entrepreneur means this is up to you.
And you gotta hustle.
You're 24 hours.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta get it done.
The work never stops.
Right.
You know what I mean?
One of the best things about being just self-employed is that you get more money.
You get more money.
You're getting more money like out of your taxes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But also, too, I feel like part of it is you get time.
Yeah.
You get time. Time is very valuable.
Right.
You know?
I think like that's the trick of like the of employed people. Like they get this lump sum amount of taxes at the end of the year, and they're like, "Ooh, I'm waiting on that tax," but really you're getting less money.
Dude, that was one of the most hilarious things about, I think it was last year's tax returns, where people were like, "Oh, we got less money than we."
Yeah.
And it was like, that's because you got way more money in your check. You know what I'm saying? Like they took less.
You got more money.
You don't understand how taxes work.
Yeah.
Like the money they're giving you is not money from the government. That's your money they're giving back to you.
Yeah.
So they took less money out in your check. You know what I mean? Like,
people don't understand that. Like,
Right.
Like they're actually taking more money out than they need to. That's why they give it back.
That's why they give it back.
But they still don't give back as much
Right.
as you really should get back.
Right.
And the other thing I want to touch on with being an entrepreneur too is when you do become one, and if you're good at what you do, all unnecessary spending, when you really assess, especially tax time, and you assess what you're spending on, will become very apparent.
Right.
So all that trips to Starbucks, the basketball games,
Yeah.
those shoes you bought, that outfit. When you have a business and you have to pay people or you have to pay subcontractors or whatever, you're gonna, because you have to bring all of that to the table.
You pay attention with all of that.
You pay attention because numbers are in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You see it. You
Right.
see, oh, I didn't realize I spent
Yeah.
$100 on Starbucks coffee. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, let me get a Keurig. Let me start making it myself or whatever it is. Or I think it's that you become more accountable when you have to really look at those numbers yourself.
Right.
Or present it to your accountant and say, because they'll say it too.
Right.
You know, because there's only so much you can write off too. You can write off a lot, but I think it's you'll definitely be more aware of your spending habits if you're an entrepreneur.
So, a lot of good points. But I want to ask a question.
What?
So, you were on this panel, and it was for African American History Month.
Right.
Okay, so just being around the black community, growing up in it, what do you guys think? And Moan, you have the right to speak on this.
We give you the right.
Even if I don't, I will be speaking my mind.
You're melanated.
Because you've been around it.
You've
your whole
reached the
life.
hue of approval.
But
Yeah.
I'm
All right,
married to
Rachel,
a
we're going to need you to be quiet on this.
don't say anything.
No, you could talk all you want, Rachel.
No, but I was gonna. What do you guys think about like highlighting black businesses? You know what I mean? Like, and just saying like you should buy black,
Well,
or
I feel like
just making it a thing.
No, I get
know
you.
what I mean?
I know where you're going with this. And I do, because that was part of the focus of this panel, was that it was black entrepreneurship, Black History Month. They went through the whole history of, the golden age of black business ownership. They went through the first black millionaires and billionaires and stuff like that. And I get it, and I get that, like, the black economy did have a golden age in this country. But the reason why the Great Depression was a big reason why that ended, but then it was also the feeling of the need to assimilate and be a part of the full,
You could say integration did that.
Integration.
Integration did it.
Like the idea that we need to integrate instead of saying like, let's just build up our own economy. Like the Asians do, like the Indians do, like all these other, cultures do. Black people were on that train, and I feel like once they
and succeeding at it in many cities.
and I think it was outside influences that got them hyped up about integration.
I think so,
and was
too.
like, because they knew the people that were trying to trick people into integrating and making this whole big thing were the ones that knew the benefits of getting them to integrate was that we get their dollar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we get control over their communities instead of them
Right.
creating this other economy where this could possibly surpass ours.
Right.
So that was the first thing. But now it's gotten to the point where it's like people want to highlight, support black-owned business, support, and in a sense, I get why they're saying that, but I think it's a little bit misguided at this point because the economy is so global now that that makes no sense anymore. Like Amazon doesn't give a shit about your race.
Right.
Because it's selling to the whole world. You know what I mean? Like there is no more, black dollar, white dollar. It's just dollars. Like if you wanna just promote to black people, like that's the thing. If you're gonna if you're gonna market yourself as a black business, you're only gonna you
It's
better
a
only
small
expect black
yeah.
people to buy from you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you're looking at 12% of the population,
Right.
12 to 13% of the
Oh,
population.
yeah,
You're
less
leaving
now.
a lot of people out.
No, it's about what it is.
Is it?
Yeah,
I think
12 to
it's like-
13% of the population.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thought it was a little less now, like 10.
No, it's 12 to 13.
Okay.
But it's been that way since
I mean, we
forever.
got Google.
The funny thing is the black population is the only population that hasn't grown. I wonder why that is. It's been at 12 to 13% forever. And every other, the Mexican population, the Latino population, the Indian population, they're all growing constantly.
Right.
You
Abortion
know?
has a little bit to do with that.
Well, you know, that has a lot to do with it.
Planned Parenthood.
Yeah.
That's
But-
another subject.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that's a whole other topic. But
Let's not go there.
I think you do kind of pigeonhole yourself because that was one of the topics in the conversation was this guy asked like what are some of the hurdles that you face being a black owned business, and one of the ladies was saying that she feels like outsiders don't want to come to her business and support it. But part of that has to do with the neighborhood that you're in. You know what I mean? And part of that has to do with the way you market it. If you market it as like, you know, black owned business, Afrocentric, like you're
Yeah.
gonna turn certain people away.
Yeah.
Right,
Like
right.
the Asian people don't say come
Yeah,
buy your hair
Koreans.
at Ching Chong Ching with the Asian writing and they don't
He said
you know what I'm saying?
ching, chong, ching.
I'm just saying like they're not in there blasting Asian music.
Right.
You know, they playing hip hop because they want
Yeah.
you, you know, they
Yeah.
want to draw you in. It's like know your market.
Right.
Know who you're trying to sell to.
Jamila said global is a good word
Yeah.
and a good point.
Yeah. It's true.
Right.
What's up, Ariana?
I mean, I have a take on it. I
Go ahead.
I do think I understand what the goal is, and I see what they're trying to say. It's really, they're really saying to one another, we should start exercising spending money within our own.
Right.
But I think along the way, it becomes too, well, I don't know the word I'm looking for here, where it's like,
Tribal?
I don't know, they're grouping themselves and they're lumping themselves into a certain group where I think,
You paint yourself in the corner, I feel like.
yes. So I would say black people do need to, if we're speaking about black people, we do need to exercise a certain amount of patience with one another because we may not have the resources that other groups have. So we have to kind of be a little understanding with one another. And I think we don't have patience with one another. So when we go in, like you ever heard this term, the white man's ice is colder? Like you give someone an estimate
Yeah.
and somebody else come and give, I see it
The
sometimes.
white man's ice is colder. Man, that's some Malcolm X shit right there.
You ever heard
boy.
that? You never heard that?
No, I never heard
Okay.
that.
All
before.
right. So it's
I
like,
get it. I get the
yeah,
concept
okay.
right off
But
the
for
top.
people don't
Yeah.
understand it,
Yeah.
it's like you go give someone a bid. And because you're black and they're
Like,
black,
come on, brother.
come
you
on,
trying
hook
to
me
get
up,
me,
man.
bro. Hook me up.
You, someone who's not black, go give them that same
No,
bid.
not Moan.
No, anybody who's not, a non-black person, or
Yeah.
specific, or maybe
Sam Smith.
yeah, and they'll take that bid because they're expecting that number one, they're expecting
The white guy brings quality.
quality,
Right.
and I think I think they need to reword that. They need to work on that. Like we need to start exercising a certain amount of understanding with one another. I should be able to treat it like you guys hire musicians, right?
Mm-hmm.
You guys hire musicians. Me coming in, you hiring me. I should want to do the absolute best for you guys.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not just
Right.
because you're black, just because that's what I'm doing, but the fact that you guys are doing something that most young men are not doing, I should want to do the best for you too.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but even like with that, it's programming. And I think we're beyond like neighborhood. It's becoming global.
Yeah.
So I think we're kind of beyond that. But there's still a level to that. And there's definitely an aspect to that.
There's a community aspect.
Yeah,
to it.
It's
definitely a
communal.
I think
It
it
has to
needs to
start-
be. It needs to
Yeah.
be community.
Right.
But I
Right.
think the main thing is programming, like you were saying, because people are so programmed to think that it's better over there.
It's better over
and
there.
it's not even. I don't even think it has to do with race so much as in how you present it to make it look good to the eye. Just like going to. They got the same food. You guys were just talking about it, but
Right.
this is presented way better. So I'm gonna go here and spend my. That's programming,
Right.
You know, and I think
Right.
I think
With Trev.
the black community has been a lot more easily programmed over time. And a lot of it has to do with the government. A lot of it has to do with
social
Trauma,
programming.
manipulation.
trauma,
Yeah.
wanting to have the best, but trying to find an easy way to get it.
Right.
You know, and it's hit us over the years and turned into something else. Jordans, you know what I mean? Like it's
That's
just,
what I was gonna make that point that I think what black people need to do is be more mindful with their dollar and realize where they're putting the dollar toward, because black people are one of the biggest 12% of the population is one of the strongest consumer bases.
Right.
The black dollar spends the fastest, right?
Yeah.
So why is that happening?
Because we're not taught that. We're not taught to be frugal where we need to be frugal.
Right.
And I think at the end of the day, the communities, not just the black community, the Latino community too, it's about swag.
Right.
It's about looking good.
That swizzle.
And
certain Latino communities.
no, it's kind of weird because every culture has their thing.
Yeah.
You know? But I see it where, you know...
No, but it's different. Because, like, you can't equate Dominicans with Mexicans. You know what I mean? In
That's
terms
true.
of-
But yeah, Mexicans on.
No. They're a little...
Yeah, I mean,
They
that's a
go
whole
out in their
nother-
cars. Their Jordans are their
I
cars.
was just in Connecticut, and Nita's grandma had just passed away, but her brother I just met for the first time. This dude looked like an old gangster
Player
he
pimp.
had like thick ass chains. He had like
Yeah,
three
yeah.
thick ass chains. I'm like, yo,
He was he was a member of the Cobra Lords. Remember the Cobra
The
Lords?
Vatos Locos.
when you say
Oh, no,
flashy-
they were
No.
Mexicans, right?
That's
Yeah.
the
Blood in, blood out.
Latin
Whatever
Kings.
Yeah,
it is.
that's
Blood in, blood
The
out.
Latin Kings.
Yeah,
I think-
yeah, he
Latin
looked
King,
like
yeah,
he was
yeah.
an OG, from the
OG
Latin King.
King. Yeah.
I think what we have to discuss is not. I mean, yeah, I do get you saying that we should stop highlighting specifically just support black business per se. What we need to address is how we're spending our money.
Yeah, that's
you know
what
what I
I'm
mean?
saying, yeah.
How we're spending our money, because a lot of the things that we buy in minority communities is really depreciating assets. That's really what it is.
Why are you rushing to buy Gucci with your dollar?
Well, because the rapper said so.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But so in that, it's like, yeah, the concept of like you're not supporting a black business is in there, but it's also you're rushing to support a business that doesn't give a shit about your community,
Right.
Or that doesn't like
Yeah.
just totally just
Right.
Yeah, because the rapper says so. Who gives the rapper a platform?
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, the same people that own the companies.
Right,
You know what
right.
I mean? Like the dude.
But
that,
I do understand what, I mean, maybe the wording is wrong, but I do think we should create a culture where we say, listen, you know, we should learn to support one another.
No, that is different. Support is different.
Right.
I agree with you on that. Like if we know, like you, for example, you've complained to me many times about like when you go out to do these bids,
Yeah.
the ones that give you the hardest time are
Yeah.
the black people. You know what I mean? But instead of having the mentality of
I
like,
thought you said Indians.
No, Indians try to beat you down on price.
yeah, Indians are going to haggle you.
Yeah.
But they got money though. But the black people are the ones that give you a hard time, and every price.
Well,
is-
they're more offended that you're charging them.
Yeah, right.
You know.
They want you to give them the hookup.
Right.
But what I'm saying is like, instead of the mentality of like, it's never a mentality of like, let me support this dude's business
Yeah.
and give him what he's asking for. It's always like, oh, you trying to beat me? You know what I mean?
Right.
You trying to beat me? Oh, I could get,
Right.
you know, I could get Ray to do it for half that
right,
price. You know what I mean?
That's also cultural too.
That reminds me of a funny movie, 40-year-old version. The first time I seen Kevin Hart,
Yo, I just watched that yesterday, bro.
where he was in the appliance store.
Yeah.
Don't be a nigga, be my nigga.
Right.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that there's an element. Now I have met, I think the older generation, the older black generation, they're okay. They are more in that mindset.
Right.
When they meet somebody younger who's doing something, Mr. Brown is one of my favorite clients, and he told me, he said, James, I just want to have a conversation with you, man. I said, sure. He said, the price, he's like, it's high. He's like, but you say this is what you're good at. He's like, unfortunately, I don't have any physical example of your work. He's like, I'm gonna trust in you. He's like, all I ask is you do right by me. He's like, I won't question your price.
That right there, though, like that's amazing.
right?
No. Listen, that made me listen, bro.
You went above and beyond for that dude.
That made me I damn near paying that whole man's house.
Exactly.
'Cause-
But how much more work would you do for someone like that than someone who's trying to haggle you constantly through the
you
process?
get frustrated.
Yeah.
You get frustrated. But he said that. He said, look, he said, I'm not used to these kind of prices. He said, but he's like,
I'm trusting you.
yes. He
So
said
you're
to
not
me,
going to let that man down.
I can't let him down, man. And not only that, but I delivered.
Right.
And I
And
did
you went above and
I went
beyond.
above and beyond. Man, that guy called me back. Every job, he's like, you're my guy.
Right.
He's like, I'm never gonna. He's like, listen. He's like, I'm never gonna question your price as long as you can do this kind of work.
Right.
And from then on,
But now it's up to you to deliver.
now it's
every
up to
time.
me. Now it's up to me.
Now,
to
if you
deliver.
start being the nigga, like, now he's calling me. I got this job in the bag, and you start
Right,
cutting
right,
corners.
right,
Then
right.
who messes that up?
Right.
You know
it's,
what I mean?
It's incumbent on me
Right.
to deliver and to continue to be a good contractor to this
Right.
guy.
But
Right.
isn't it? That's perspective.
But that's I do that with anybody though.
Right.
But it's just like when he talked to me and he said, "Look, man, he's the fact that you're out here." And he's a former vet. He said, asked me how old I was and everything. And I said, "Yeah, at that time I was in my early 30s." And he said, "Hey, man, I'm glad to see you doing something like this." And I think that's what it is. We have to learn how to reinforce the younger generation. Sometimes the elder generation, what happened to these kids? And when these kids come along and they try to do something, oh, come on.
Yeah.
Because we're so used to Ricky around the corner doing it for $50.
Right. Because Ricky's on crack half the time and he needs to take
Right.
18
So no one is-
drinking breaks and like
Who's going to be motivated to come slave away? And,
Right. Right.
We live in a different world now. I tell people like this. I dedicate myself to being a skilled craftsman. And I went to a trade school. I know my work. I know it. I bought the right tools. I spent thousands of dollars on this stuff. I am not coming to slave away and work on your toilet for $50.
Right.
If you could do it, you do it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what it is. We the elders aren't necessarily putting the confidence back into the kids.
But I think that's been passed down. That's what we're talking about. Like that whole idea of like you're trying to beat me instead of like let me.
Well, it's a game.
I'm gonna give you an opportunity to prove yourself. You know what I mean? Like you say you're doing this,
Right.
Right.
Did y'all? You guys ever watch Fences?
That's the movie you was talking about.
No. It's
Fences.
with
With Denzel?
Oh, with Denzel.
Washington.
Oh yeah. I watched it.
And
I saw that.
what's her name? Victoria. What's her name? Victoria?
No, Viola Davis.
Viola.
Yeah.
Victoria.
And just like his mentality in it, like
Yeah.
And there was a scene.
That was just one of the movies that seemed like it had no point to me.
Yeah.
Like, it just was like tragic for no reason.
Yeah.
People love that shit.
Yeah, it had no point. But there were some things in there that you seen like when he was talking to his son, and the son's like, "Do you like me?"
Yeah.
And he's like, goes into this
He's like,
whole.
boy, I ain't gotta
thing.
like you.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
Right.
And he talks about like putting food on the table
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all this stuff.
Yeah.
But it's just you get so caught up in your pride of what you do that you can't see like this guy's trying to reach out to his son, and it just
He's trying to connect with
creates
you
this barrier.
and put a bridge there.
Yeah.
Because there's some kind of divide between y'all, and he's trying to figure out what it is, and you're totally just shitting on him in that
Right.
moment. Like, yeah.
Right. But there's another aspect. I'm sorry.
No, I just want to say like I see that like because I kind of like my dad had our dad
Oh, yeah.
had a little bit of that like I brought you in this world, I can take you out,
Yeah.
type
Yeah.
mentality.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of pride in that where it's like it's my way or no way instead of like, but dad, maybe there's another way.
Right.
And it brings that separation between two generations a lot of times.
Well, part of that thing that a lot of people missed in the movie was Denzel Washington's character was a failed baseball player.
Yeah.
And he was stuck in the field of a trash man
Right.
that never got the shot. He was
Right.
working the trash man job, hoping he would get the call, never got the call. So he became bitter with life,
Bitter,
continued
yeah.
doing the things that he was doing, and a lot of his faults and mistakes were starting to play out in real life. But it is true that generation, they never taught the children how to invest and how to love and how to there's certain things, you know what I mean? That young man just, and that character just happened to join the services and leave
Right.
out of frustration.
Yeah. And it was especially in the young men.
Right.
And I think that's where a lot of this disconnect in the
Right.
community comes from.
We're not teaching. Another thing too is the church.
Yeah.
We're not teaching people. There should be entrepreneur classes in the church.
Absolutely.
Where you teach people.
And the church should be leading in that example of who owns businesses. We're going to support you.
Right.
We're going to show everyone in our congregation how you support our own.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
You know what
that
I mean?
was one of the things with the Nation of Islam.
Right.
You know, I was just watching that documentary with
and the Black Panthers.
That's a good documentary.
And the
Yeah.
Black Panthers too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you watch that Malcolm
But-
X one yet?
I
You
started. I didn't finish it.
But Nation of Islam was like on a whole nother level,
Yeah.
like compared to Black Panthers.
Yeah.
Throughout the country, especially like
Owning
throughout the
businesses and
country.
stuff.
Yeah,
They had
And
their
just
own like
making their own.
like military system, everything.
Yeah. It was Wakanda.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is,
That's why they were so scared of him.
Yeah. No, dude.
FBI.
They had
Yeah.
them on lock, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
still convinced that Elijah Muhammad was the plant.
Yeah.
I just am, yo.
Right.
I just am.
well, yeah. I mean, or somebody who got turned.
That's what I
Right,
mean.
right,
like
yeah,
they got to him early. You know what I'm saying? Because they tried to get to Malcolm. They showed it.
Mm-hmm.
They showed it where Malcolm actually recorded it when they tried to turn him.
Yeah.
But
You know what I
the
mean?
reason why
Wow.
I'm bringing it up is that, dude, they had everything locked down, but yet you can't change the mentality. Like you can structure people. They made them into like soldiers. They made them more disciplined, and that's what they
Talked to them
love
about business,
about it.
Yeah, yeah.
black
Yeah,
entrepreneurship.
they were disciplined. They were a unit, but they still had the same mindset.
Yeah, but some
you
of
know?
that was affected by the infiltration of the FBI too.
Oh yeah.
You know.
No, I'm talking about like you can't change, like all that is not going to change anything in terms of yourself, and like that's what needs to be healed is
You
the
mean
heart.
like the trauma and
The trauma,
the
that-
damage that was
that-
done from the
Yeah.
past.
What they did was they took what happened and they highlighted, and then they said, okay, now we're going to make this something from this hurt and this pain and this, you know what I mean? We're going to make this a whole thing.
Right.
Can't do that. You need healing,
Right.
you know, and I think a lot of the black community needs healing. That's the thing that's truly love. Is
So
truly
they
gonna unite.
weaponized the trauma instead of healing from it,
Right.
And then moving on from there,
Right.
Which is you see that,
Yeah.
that.
And that segments me into this movie that I watched called Just Mercy. I don't know. Have you guys heard of it?
Just Mercy. No, I haven't heard of it.
I heard of it.
So it's with Jamie Foxx. He was
Oh yeah.
And Michael B.
yeah.
Jordan.
Yeah.
Michael
Okay,
B. Jordan.
I heard of it, but I didn't see it.
So Jamie Foxx was a guy who was on death row.
Spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't watched it yet.
No, this is not a.
I'm just saying, just in case.
Just
okay.
in case.
Just
they
in
wanna-
case.
I'm not. Yeah,
if
I
you
didn't.
don't want to hear anything about the movie, just turn it off.
I didn't want to go that deep into it.
Yeah.
But just what it's about. Michael B. Jordan, he's basically fighting for a lot of people who are on death row. And it's based in Alabama in the 80s. And Jamie Foxx's character, and this is a true story. I forget his name. But his character was wrongly accused of killing a white lady, basically. Being put on death row. He was put on death row before his trial.
Wow.
Like, that's how crazy this is. You know what I mean? Put on death row before his trial. So he was already convicted.
Yeah.
You know.
Convicted sentence.
That's. I just want to highlight like a lot of the stuff that people don't want to talk about or think about is like how corrupt shit was back then.
Yeah.
And like now you're seeing the repercussions of that. Like all of this like outrage and hating cops and like this hating the justice system. It's because of
that.
the trauma from
Yeah.
that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
But it doesn't make it right to do that.
No, it
You know
doesn't.
what I
It
mean?
absolutely doesn't.
But every cause has an effect.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the point of the biggest point that I saw from the movie, because I don't want to give it all away, but it was that there was one scene that the Michael B. Jordan, he's the lawyer who's fighting for these guys on death row. Mainly, it was about the story with Jamie Foxx, and the lady who was working for him, I don't know, paralegal, I guess she might have been. She said to him, You know, every lawyer I worked with before said, don't get into a relationship. Don't make it personal. Don't get into a relationship with the people you're fighting for.
Like, don't get close with them.
Don't get close.
Because they could get locked. Like, yeah, I get it.
And he said, and she said to him, like, but you do the complete opposite. And I see how that's the right thing to do. And that was his motivation was he wanted to help these people. And he had a love for them. Like he had a genuine. He would build relationships with these people.
Right, because because he genuinely cared about them, it would make him fight for them.
Yeah, and it wasn't just like he had some white guys he would work with too, but it was like, it did have to do with being black, you know.
Right.
But that wasn't the core thing.
Right.
And I think that's important. You know what I mean? It was more about like this man is a good man. Let me get to know him. You know what I mean? He doesn't deserve this. I'm going to fight for him. And that was better than a lot of these.
Yep, a camera is down.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's all right. We'll just
keep
look
talking.
at Moon and James the whole time.
So that was more important than like a race movie. You know what I mean? About black and white. But it was more like you've seen the healing going on. And even the prosecutor who was fighting against them, you seen how his perspective changed, and it was due to the other lawyer who was speaking to him in a way where he was showing him like, yo, this is not just about being right or wrong or staying in what you believed before. And a lot of people, they get caught up in systems or ways of doing things. You know what I mean? Like, whether it's judicial, whether it's like, look at the mafia, you know what I mean? They had a whole hold on, especially in the art area or a little bit north, they had a whole hold on unions. They had a hold on
judges and stuff like that too.
But they like all the working class stuff, like they had a hold on contractors, trash, like they had a hold on this stuff. You know what I mean? And that was the way it was, and you had to pay homage to this. And then the corruption and everything. And when you try to come against that, people come against you. You know, but I think my point is that it's love that changes those situations always, and it's always about healing. And it's about, well, maybe I don't have to be a slave to this thing. Maybe, because most people, through fear, they think that they have to do it. They have to live this way. You know, what did they call back the good old boys? You know what I mean? The good old boy system. Like, that was the racist system back in the day. Because the good old boys, that's the way we did it in the South. There was a pride to that. You know what I mean? There's a pride, but also a fear to it. Like, you get comfortable in it. This is the way you've been doing it for so long, you know. And then the opposite, who the victims of it are like, well, this is the way they've been doing it so long. This is the way it is. And after you lose hope, you know what I'm saying? But if you have one person who's gonna believe, like this lawyer, he believed for them. He kept fighting for them. He had hope. It started to transfer over to the inmates. They started to have hope for themselves. You know what I mean? And that hope, it changes perspectives. It heals things. And it affected a whole community. And that's powerful. You know what I mean? Because it literally changes your perspective about how you go about something in a community. And it takes away fear and pride from the way you see how you go into any situation. And that needs to happen more with black communities. You know what I mean?
Well, that's a good perspective, but I think part of it too is a lot of these strongholds were being exposed, and a lot of these guys were getting justice. There's a lot of justice or a lot of injustice that were being corrected too, because those corrupt systems were in place for a long time, and it hindered a lot of people from moving forward. It destroyed a lot of people's lives, and a lot of those men went free. And over time, people started seeing, holy crap, there's something wrong with the system. Like we talked about it before, like in certain areas, you and I, Jamie, we talked about this. In certain areas, you drive into a certain town and you're getting pulled over, you know, because
Right.
they're getting tickets.
They need to. They need more money in that township.
Right.
So they are under ordinance to like. Sometimes those little traps that they set up,
Right.
it's just to grab some money real
Grab
quick.
some money, and they
Yeah.
know that the people there are poor. They can't miss work,
Mm-hmm.
right? They know they can't come to court to fight the ticket.
So they're just going to pay it.
They're just going to pay it. So those type of systems do need to shatter. So yeah, we do need to heal. We do need to heal, and we do need to learn how to forgive. But at the same time, we have to focus on changing those laws. That's why we need more black people in political systems and judicial systems, and change those laws so they're not affected by things like that.
Yeah.
And we do the right thing. Then we don't get in there and be corrupt.
Mm-hmm.
We get in there and follow the law.
But that's my
ourselves.
point. Like it's a connected thing. It's not separate.
No, I agree.
Yeah,
I'm just
I mean-
saying. I'm just saying that justice is not just justice for the innocent man. There has to be justice for the guy who did this, so he gets punished too. That, you know what I mean? Like there has to be punishment for the person who set up this system, who
Right.
did that too.
Yeah. Well,
right?
yeah, justice is mine, says the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, even our perspective of like, well, they need to be punished.
Why not?
What I'm saying is that if that is your focus, well, then your focus is going to be off.
No, I'm saying forgive.
You know what I mean?
Forget, like yeah. But if the police officers were doing something wrong, they should be brought to justice.
Yeah, yeah.
Should be
Yeah,
held-
no,
held
I'm not saying
accountable for-
they shouldn't. But what I'm saying is that if that is your motivating factor in situations, well, then you're going to be blinded to a lot of things.
If it's only, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem.
Well,
You know
I
what
think
mean?
what it is this. I would say this: if your grandfather was treated unfairly, you can't make that your fight. You have to if justice was served, you can't then harbor that hate and carry that on and be like, 20 years ago, 40 years ago, my grandfather did this, or he was wrongfully incarcerated, and so now I'm bitter towards. You know what I mean? If justice was served, where the police officers were fired, then you move on from that. Forgive and move on.
What happens if it never was?
Well, then you seek justice and you go down the right channels. But seeking justice doesn't mean you're necessarily going to harbor hate. Like, I think that's what it is.
But that's what it is. Like
Well,
when you think about, I mean, social justice warriors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's become the norm.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
they're going about it in the wrong way.
But it's under it's what Jake is saying is like it's under that guided mentality of we're seeking justice.
Right.
This
They're
is
taking it too far.
What we're doing is virtuous. So,
Yeah.
but that's where
But that's all perspective also.
right
Like,
because it's like it can all stem from that initial idea of like there's been wrong done and we need
Right,
to
right,
fix this,
right.
and then it turns into that.
Of
you know what I
course,
mean?
of course.
So I think what you're saying is like there needs to be. You need to know when, like, seeking that out is not important anymore. There's other focuses that you can totally correct things in other ways. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
But I kind of agree with James though. Like people need to be held accountable. For,
absolutely, I think
Yeah.
so too.
I don't think that that's our job to hold them accountable unless we're in that, like, that's what we do. You know what I
Right.
mean? But as a community, yeah. But at the same time, it can twist so
Oh, yeah,
easily.
yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know
If
what
you
I mean?
allow it to,
Yeah.
I mean, you can seek justice without having a heart full of hate. You can. That's the law. You
Right.
can go. If a contractor came to your house, tear off your roof like you have done, and didn't do the work, you're not gonna be like, well, that's life. I can't harbor hate. I gotta move on here. Or you're gonna go and say, I'm gonna file a complaint. I'm gonna find out who this guy is. I don't necessarily want to destroy this guy, but I want this guy to pay for my roof. I want him to finish
He's
the
gotta
work.
in the eyes of the law, he has to make.
He
you
has
whole.
to make.
He has to make
you
you
hold him
whole.
accountable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to. You don't have to be like, when I catch that mother effer,
Yeah.
I want to kill him. That's what we're going wrong.
Right.
We're going way too far. Seeking justice in the law and the parameters of the law allows is one thing. Harboring that and saying all of those mother effers are like that. That's
Right.
why. That's
But
where
then,
you go
well,
wrong.
what he's saying is, but then what if you take it to the legal system and you lose, and then if that dude still gets away, and now What's your next?
That's
your
been
next
happening
move?
though. I would say there's other channels. You can if that don't work, then you go the next step up.
Right.
You know, and you go up and if
Yeah,
you
but
don't
what
get
if you
nothing,
don't have no money to do that?
if you don't have no money, that's a tough one because I can't tell people.
Then
well,
you go on Twitter and you
Well,
start.
that's my point. I mean, of course, you guys know I'm always bringing it back to
Yeah,
God because
right.
that's my point.
Right.
My point is, without God, you're not.
Right.
It can fall short. We're gonna come to our end.
He's
Well, then
saying
that's-
all these systems can fail.
Oh
you.
no.
Yeah.
But,
I mean-
but-
yeah.
okay, man. But
Yeah.
then you leave it up to God at that
Right.
point.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean,
yeah.
Right.
My point is like, every system's flawed. You're not gonna have a perfect system.
right.
There is no perfect system. There's always gonna be corruption in some way or another. But I think that it's the corruption and it's the things like coronavirus. I think the coronavirus is their own doing, but it's going to bring them to a point where a lot of those people start trusting in God
Right,
more.
right.
They got to start looking outside of what they're normally looking at. Like, I think a lot of times, like, this stuff that happens, it needs to be brought up in America
'Cause it
the
exposes
polarizing
the flaws,
stuff
yeah.
because it exposes things. And when you come to the end of yourself and your own ideas and your own understanding of how to work things out, then you got to trust.
Right. It's like
You know what I mean?
it's like if you're. I mean, a lot of people won't get this, but if you're a fighter, the analogy, like we were talking about Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, like if he's real with himself, that fight exposed his weaknesses. Like he was on this train of thinking he's the greatest of all time, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the mentality of people. It's like,
Right.
you know, they just go through life thinking everything is cool. But then, and these systems all work and they're
Yeah,
there,
yeah, yeah.
they're designed to, all these things are in place. Healthcare and the government and education and it's all there.
Right.
But then once that stuff gets exposed, that becomes your opportunity to now realize, okay, I can't trust in these things like I
Right.
once thought I could.
Right.
I need to figure out what I trust in now, or I need to figure out where I was weak because those systems fell apart for me. It's like him with fighting. It's like he's got to really look at himself and realize, all right, where did I go wrong with my fighting style, and that will be his opportunity to now come back even stronger. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, so like when Jesus says, you know, turn the other cheek, when he says love your enemies,
Right.
when he says somebody steals from you, give them, you know, something else, basically. Give them the coat or whatever. But
It's not about being soft, which is what
no,
people
but
think.
it's literally about like you not wanting to go and deal with something so that you can get justice, but allow like there's more.
Not taking revenge, right?
Yeah, but even like that, there's more than enough, and it comes from a justice that's outside of this world that can only enter in if you allow it to.
Right.
You know what I mean? But if you're always trying to play the system, play the game, you can't. You're never gonna allow to have access into the blessings that can come out. Like, is there like a stopping point with God? You know what I mean? And that's how we act when we try to go out and
I think it's
get
hard for
ourselves.
people to get to like people talk. You hear people say that all the time, but it's hard to really act that out and believe it. And
It's
that's
so
that's
hard.
where the disconnect comes. Where
Yeah.
it's like,
But that's not just with black people.
no,
That's with all.
That's what-
absolutely not,
Yeah,
absolutely
that's a
not. But
people
he's
thing.
saying that like black people and the church is another reason why they don't think in those ways is because that's not being taught. It's like
Right.
Yeah, like going back, we were talking about like why could the Nation of Islam come into a lot of these communities? A lot of these people are going to church. And they can come in and say, this churches ain't doing nothing for
Right.
you. Because there was nothing there.
Because
there was
they're
no
not.
power there.
They're not
No,
doing
what I mean?
yeah, that was a fact.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
there was a reason.
Right.
Like, so they could go into those communities and just
point out all of the inconsistencies,
Yeah.
point out all of the hypocrisy, and then people say, yeah, you know, this doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Yeah.
because they gave them the opportunity
But
to do that.
but
You know
the
what I
funny
mean?
thing is, like, and watching the documentary showed it, like, even when the hypocrisies of Elijah Muhammad were exposed to people, they didn't want to hear it.
No,
it was like,
at that, yeah,
it was. It was
Well, he
like-
already prepped them.
no, yeah,
he already prepped
yeah,
them to.
right.
You got to prep your audience
Yeah.
too.
But that shows you people's hearts are the deciding fact. You know, out of
Yeah.
the heart the mouth
Yeah,
speaks.
yeah.
It shows you that when you are heartily committed to something, it'll supersede your mind.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's always going to supersede your mind, and that's the trick.
Right.
Marketing is about getting you
Right.
to commit to something because you have a connection
You connect to it.
right?
But I have a question.
Yeah.
More of an observation, I would say. Don't you think that the United States, in terms of what's happening right now, social justice, Me Too movement, race baiting, all the stuff like that, is a result of the things that they were doing and continue to do for a long time, and they never corrected it, and eventually that thing grows up and that becomes an untamable monster. You know what I mean?
I think everything is always a result of what people were. You know what I mean? Like
right.
this is
That's
not.
what people say.
This is not. But this is not unique to
I
the
don't
United
think-
States.
no.
You know what I
No,
mean?
no,
Like
no.
when you look at other countries, and
No, not at all. But the United States, we're the purveyor of it right now.
Yeah.
Right?
I definitely
It's
think
bigger here.
in certain ways, I don't think like
I
when
mean,
you look
it's
at
pretty bad in the
yeah.
UK also.
When you look at the UK, when you
Right.
look at Iran,
Well,
you know what I
nobody
mean?
cares about that.
Man, get out of here. Yeah.
We have problems bigger.
Yeah,
than
like
yours.
it's
Right.
clearly just I think it's a human thing.
Of course.
And I think people try to like because we live here, it becomes this whole like, you know, they want to act like that this is the worst place in the world.
Right.
you
No
know?
doubt. No
Yeah.
doubt. I don't subscribe to that. I'm just saying that there has been things that has been done that
Absolutely.
that
yeah.
I think created an atmosphere for this. There's only one thing that could have grown out of this soil.
Right.
Well,
You know what I mean?
I think it's created an opportunity. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's untamed, like because you said untamable monster, but I don't think it's untamable. I think it is a monster. You know what I mean? Just like look at 40 years ago in the 1960s, and you know what happened with that, with all the free love and the stuff. That was all rebellion against the earlier generation.
the
You know what I mean?
structure.
But every
yeah.
generation has done
Right,
that.
right.
And yeah, it brings light to all the hypocrisy. So what I'm saying is it's an opportunity to bring two generations together. You know what I mean? And because you got to look at your flaws at one point, and then on the other side, you got to calm yourself down.
Right.
You know, and that's where
Because what ends up happening is they all get exposed for hypocrisy.
Right,
The
right.
free love movement
Right.
was like, you guys are hypocrites.
well,
And
it's
then
still
now, in the
feeding
same-
it today.
Yeah, it is. But even that is like the most hilarious thing is to me is the Michael Bloomberg thing, because it's like
Yeah.
you know, they went on this whole tirade about what they're totally against.
Yeah.
You know, and
he's
then
everything.
this is the guy. This is the guy? Really?
Right.
He's everything that you say you hate. You know what I mean?
He got owned too. on
Oh
that
yeah.
debate.
That debate was
Yeah.
A
He's not a
shit
good.
show.
He's not a good debater.
Yeah, he's not.
But I think that there was a lot of things that has been done that, you know, we kind of reaping what we sow. you know?
absolutely. I think so too.
Yeah.
But
I think
there's
so, too.
there's a reaping what you sow, or you could say karma. But there's a loophole hole to it. You know what I mean? There's a loophole to reaping what you sow. And that's Jesus. Like, he was the loophole to having to reap what you sow. And it's, if you lay down your own pride and stuff, the generation is the way it is, and the split happens because of pride and not wanting to see the flaws. And then when you lay that down and you let him in, he can heal that. And it's not, and then when that healing comes, now you're gonna step into this other generation, because you're not gonna be fearful and be separate from them, because you're gonna reach out to them. And that's what happens. Like you were just talking about it earlier. Oh, that generation, look at how they are, these young kids. You know, but you stop saying that when you realize they're the future. You know what I mean? And you lay down your own way of seeing things and your own way of doing things. And we're all responsible for that in some way or another. We're all responsible for our own flaws and what we do in our life that we thought was right, and then we come to the realization, no, maybe that wasn't so right. You know what I mean? And it's that point of recognition to not reap what we sow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that, I think, like, that's my point. Love destroys all that, because it's like even working out of the fear of reaping what we sow can cause issues too. You know, and then that dies when we let love in. It kills it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because we don't have to work towards any of those things anymore. I don't have to work towards, I want to save the future generation. So now I'm gonna put work into that,
Right.
and then but I'm working out of the way I think it should be. You know what I mean? And I can do more damage than good. And I think like people have a lot of good intentions. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people have good intentions in terms of what they're doing.
I agree, but I think the main thing is, and like what you're saying, and the main way to like bring this all home for everybody is like, if you feel like things need to change, if you feel like things like you're adamant, you're passionate about these things, focus on it in your life and what you're doing and with your family.
Yeah.
And let that be it. Don't try to scream other people into believing what you believe.
Right.
Yeah.
Just focus on what you got. You know, like the Jordan Peterson thing. Clean your room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And from there, let the house get cleaned one room at a time. Like, and I think that's where people are going wrong. It's like, I'm gonna force you to see things the way I see them.
Right.
Like, you can believe for people to see it that way. You can believe for them.
Yeah.
You can wholeheartedly want them to, but trying to force people to is where we're going wrong.
Yeah.
Trying to force people into like,
Just like trying to force people to, you need to buy black.
yeah,
You know
that's what
I
I'm
mean?
saying. Like all of that, anything.
any-
Trying to force people into your ideology is where you go wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it happens on all sides. You know what I mean? You need to accept all of these things, or you need to not accept these things. It's like, no.
Right.
Focus on if what you want your community, your family to be. Focus on that, and then if you establish that and it becomes a thing, you'll see it grow. You'll see it expand from there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We talked about it before. Like, all these people, they want to not have kids, and they're saving animals and want to have abortions. They're gonna die off anyway.
Damn.
It's facts.
is.
Like they are literally just not gonna.
reproducing.
They're not reproducing.
Yeah.
So their ideology dies with them. You know what I mean? Like,
No, I do understand what you're saying. I think it is very important that when you have come to a certain level of understanding, it usually happens in your late 20s, early 30s, more like your early 30s, where you start reflecting on life, the purpose of life, and more importantly, when you have children, it really becomes more. You're more aware of it. I think if you start focusing, like for me, focusing on my wife, my daughter, like how can I truly be a good husband? How can I be a good father? The things I want for Sophia. I've learned to tune out the news, the negativity, the noise, if you will. And focus on building relationships with people that I can share with, even if we don't see eye to eye on many things, or we do. I've learned how to chew the meat and spit out the bones. So where I don't go down a path of picking up somebody's flag that I don't know what this represents, but I'm running with them because I've been told to do that.
Right.
I think that's what's happening a lot. But I do think from a communal standpoint, I do think that it is not a bad thing to want to invest with people of your own. Like for me, I'll be honest with you. If I see a Trinidadian restaurant, I want to go in there.
Right.
I want to support my own. You know what I mean? I want the Trinidadian guy to
but that's
succeed.
I feel
Yeah,
like
there's
that's
nothing wrong
normal.
with that, yeah.
I
Right.
feel like that's normal.
That's
we all
normal.
do that. We
But
all do that.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But I shouldn't, at the same time, I shouldn't be like, well, Moan is right next to him. I ain't going in there because Moan, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's where I think
Right.
the people are messing this up. So it's okay to support. If you want to support a black business, go support it. But
But it's also, you should hold that black business to the same
Of course,
standard you
of
hold.
course.
Like, because we talk about it all the time.
That is true.
When you're going to
That is true.
the
I
Trinidadian
definitely-
restaurant and the service is terrible, they
Right.
don't want to help you, they don't got nothing that's on the menu. It's
Right.
like, I'm supposed to keep coming here because
Right.
I'm supporting you?
No,
Like,
we
no.
absolutely.
No.
I 100% agree with you that with that said, we have to develop a way to make sure, like Mr. Brown said to me, I'm trusting in this price, but I'm gonna trust that you are gonna do what you. We have to learn how to deliver.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's what it is. Are you a man of your word? You want to marry my daughter? Are you a man of your word? You know what I mean? Are
Yeah.
you gonna do right by her? That's what it is. I think we have to build back within ourselves, not just black or white or whatever it is, but men. I think we have to build back that level of integrity. We have to become leaders again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everything that I tell Shaniqua, if I go cheat on her or I go lie to her or she catches me in something, all of that is gone.
Right.
Because everything that I've said to her, she'll look at me like, you've been lying the whole time.
Yeah.
No matter if that one little thing, I'm going to destroy trust in her. And I think that's what it is. We need to rebuild trust back in one another.
Oh, we lost you. Might be your cable. Saw you messing with
Hey.
it. There we go.
All right. So how do you
Amazon cable. See, made in China.
how do you
Coronavirus.
be a
on the
leader?
cables.
How do I?
Yeah, like tell the people how do you become a leader?
I mean, I don't. I mean, of course.
I thought that was funny.
What happened?
Me too.
Coronavirus in China and the cable. I was like,
They heard you. They heard you. I think it becomes. It's for me. I would say what worked for me was being introspective, starting to look at my life. I think I stopped and looked at my life. This is before Shaniqua and marriage and all stuff that I after my mom's death, my attitude was like, well, if my mom is gonna die at 50 and you don't know when you're gonna go, I might as well enjoy this thing. And because I was frustrated because everything that I was taught, healing, miracles, God, all stuff like that, I questioned it at that moment because it was a reality. And I went down a path of, well, you might as well enjoy yourself because I don't know, I may not make it.
Right.
So I'm gonna at least go out
Salsa
have
dance every night.
We'll go have fun, white shoes and all. But I think after a certain situation happened, I stopped and I started to look inward and I started saying, well, let me look at my life. And honestly, a lot of what happened to me was my own fault. I think people don't. That's probably what it is. We're in a culture of blame everybody else but yourself. So, but that's not exclusive to black people. That's exclusive. That's human.
Absolutely.
Where it's everybody else's fault but our own. And I think for me, when I really analyzed what happened in that situation, you guys know it. It was my fault.
Right.
I chose that situation. I chose to be around people like that, and ultimately, my attitude at that time was, well, I'm not doing those things. I'm not behaving like that. So how could, I'm not throwing mud so nothing's going to get on me.
Right.
I never thought that with the wild flinging of mud, some would get on me too.
Mess up them white pants.
Got me.
White pants and white shoes.
But see, but imagine you took the approach like,
Right.
dig your heels in, right? And be like,
No, I agree. I understand. No, I see it.
My parents brought me. I didn't never want to come here. You know what I mean? You can literally take yourself down the road.
It could go either way.
And then just dig your heels in and be like,
I
I don't give a fuck about nothing. You know what I mean?
Right. And I think, honestly, it comes down to your character. It has to. Some of it has to exist in you, and some people it takes a lot more to pull out of them. Like you and I talk about the Deontay thing. We're a big boxing fight. Deontay is making all kind of excuses for why he lost. You know what I mean?
The costume.
I mean,
Ridiculous costume.
You take ownership, man.
Right.
And I think,
Wait, what did he say about the costume? I missed that.
He said it weighed 45 pounds.
He said it was.
Or 25 pounds.
wait. So, the guy who was wearing that lost. I don't know anything about the fight, but the guy who was dressed all crazy in the fight
made
footage
his legs.
lost.
Yes, he said.
But
It was
wasn't
too
it
heavy,
your
and it made his legs.
choice
Wait a minute.
to
You didn't
wear
hear
the
this?
Yeah,
ridiculous
it's real.
costume?
It's real.
So no one thought him wearing a 45-pound costume was a bad idea.
It might be 25 or
Yeah, it won't be exaggerated.
No, it is 45.
45.
He said he wear it in his room the night before, but he didn't realize how he wore it 15 minutes before he walked out, and he didn't realize how far he had to walk. But that's nonsense.
But I'm just saying, like, no one in the whole camp said maybe it's not a good idea to wear a weighted costume.
Yeah.
But to me, that's a classic example of what y'all are talking about, which is like, look at your decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them.
Oh no,
were
they're
your
roasting
fault.
him. People are roasting him
Yeah.
because that's exactly what it is. You wore this thing. What?
No, go ahead. I was gonna.
You wore it and you had it on so you could. This a little too heavy.
But why did you have it on?
Pride.
Because you want to show off.
You want to
and be
show
flashy.
off. Yes.
Yeah.
And you got out there and you left your skills in it.
Yeah, he was winded,
But yeah, so
and his legs were,
Yeah.
he didn't look right.
no, it wasn't. a
No,
costume.
it was after he got hit in the ear. You could tell.
Yo,
he
but
was messed up.
I did see a video though. I seen a feed on Facebook, World Star, with a dude breaking down the way Fury had his gloves, and it was like flappy, right? And it seemed like the glove was here. It wasn't his whole thing wasn't into the glove. Yo, watch the video, and when he hit him, he would hit him like the glove would go like this, but this part right here would be
catch him.
Yeah, look at the video. It looked legit. It really did look legit.
Yo, people be trying to make all the excuses in the world, bro. Yeah. They just can't accept it.
It did look legit.
But that's what we're talking about.
I don't know if you can find it, but
I mean, what I saw,
yo,
because
he was losing that fight from jump.
Yeah.
What I saw was a good old fashioned.
Yeah,
because I didn't think that was gonna happen.
There was I didn't see no glove. I watched the whole fight.
Right, but the point we're trying to make is you got to take accountability.
Right.
You can make all the excuses you want. And listen, people are roasting him.
Yeah.
You know, and it's the same thing. I feel like when you
realize that in your life, you came to that point.
I know I can't go around telling young men be good to my daughter,
right?
If I'm not good to their mother, to her mother.
But if you internalize what happened to you and then you just like women ain't shit, and then you're out there womanizing, you know what I mean? Like that's a. So what do you think it was? Do you think it was your foundation and what your parents brought you up in?
Absolutely.
That took you down the other path?
I mean, so growing up very religious, I think whenever you're introduced to religion as a kid, there's restriction that comes with that, right? Rightfully so. Parents, they restrict you. And I think once you start being exposed to school, friends, those are the influences that are coming in. You're still fearful of your parents, but you're still curious about the world. Once those freedom, the restraints of your parents start to loosen up a little bit, that's where you start to explore. And we came to a country in the mid-90s that was going through something huge.
You heard bump and grind on the radio. You're like, I want to know what this is all about.
No, I wasn't into R. Kelly, but it definitely was leaving a small village to come here.
Right,
was a big change.
Absolutely.
And I think our parents didn't account for that. So when I got here, I mean, I was 14, so my personality already developed, but I definitely got influenced, and I started focusing on the wrong things.
Yeah,
you know. And I spent 10 years indulging, and I spent another 10 years rebuilding.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And you think that your mom passing away is like really what sent you down that path of like? I mean, I was already. I can't just blame that all on that, but that definitely helped. In hurt, when you're hurt and you're confused, you're mad at God. You're mad at. So you rebel.
Yeah, because we grew up in the era of healing and miracles and all that stuff like that. So when it didn't happen, you question: is this real? Like what? My mom was diligent. My mom tithed. My mom she was the one waking us up. Get your butt to so you do question what you're doing. You know. So
especially ultimately, when you see Benny Hinn out there, just just
Hadouken.
He's just healing everybody with the smack on the head.
Yeah. But ultimately, though, I did come back. I did, but I came back this time with a different. I didn't come back with gung ho believe everything. I went down
the magical
right. So I went down the conspiracy route, and I realized that I stopped myself. I was like,
yeah, Tower 7.
Because when you're confused, that's really where the enemy sneaks in, because he's gonna be like, okay, so you like these conspiracy videos, and you go now. There's a lot of truth in it, but mixed in there is confusion too.
Absolutely.
So I had to put that down and say, okay, slow down, you know?
Yeah.
And I think, focusing on marriage and finding a good wife and setting up a family, and then truly starting to say, okay, I got to tune this stuff out. I got to focus. I got to build a business, and I got to focus on becoming a better man, a better husband. I think I refocused my energy. I never thought I would stop going to the clubs.
Yeah,
I thought I loved it. I enjoyed it, but I enjoyed lounges. I enjoyed being out dressing. You remember blazers and your little. I enjoyed that. I liked being different. I like going out and presenting myself a certain way.
Right.
It was peacocking, but all my money. I remember one time, right? I bought this BMW. You know,
I remember.
Bought the BMW. Had
cash.
Yes.
Cash money.
Cash money, man. I had my apartment, clothes, everything. You know what I mean? And I remember I took this girl out, and she said to me, "Nice car." She's like, "Max Burton had a Bentley." I'm like, "You, because it's like I worked so hard for this."
But then you start realizing, oh, this is what I'm attracting.
This is no matter what. No, I'm not impressing nobody.
Right.
You know
There's
what I mean?
always going to be someone.
Somebody always has
who could pull up in the Lambo. Once you get the Bentley, now there's someone pulls up in a spaceship.
I gotta show up with it. Yeah.
It's like, what are you gonna do?
Oh, that's my jet over here. And she said it so nonchalantly, and that's to remind me that she's not impressed.
Right.
You know.
Right.
But I realized at that moment, I was like, okay, all of this is not worth.
Right.
Because this is not a quality girl.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Getting to know her, after getting to know her, she was
into you because she thought you had a certain lifestyle.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And she was dating a former Eagles player. So she was just letting me know, like, I'm not impressed with your little apartment, your little,
I've seen things. Right.
I used to date Del Rey, who was a wide receiver. I ain't gonna say his name.
You don't want to say his name?
But whatever, you know what I mean?
I've never heard of that guy.
No, I'm saying whoever it was, she was just, and all of that let me know,
Del
like,
Rey.
okay.
Sounds like a black guy.
But
Yeah, but you learned.
I learned.
Investing
it didn't
in
happen.
those things.
It didn't happen right away, but I started putting it all together. And then you remember, after I lost interest in the BMW, it sat there for years.
Yep.
I forgot about that thing. I got a work van. Like all my efforts, and I realized that's what it was. I didn't pour myself into the things I needed to pour myself into.
Let's talk about how your rate of getting pulled over highly decreased once you got rid of me.
Absolutely.
Isn't that funny?
I was driving around in a black BMW
with rims,
with black rims.
Yeah. Rachel's like, I can't even picture this guy with white pants on.
Yeah. And I was leaving from one club to the next club. I was meeting people there. I used to do little DJ sets. I would go in there, and I was known, I would do more lounges, not clubs, really.
Right.
But literally, as soon as I left the club, whoop, whoop, I'd get pulled over, and it would be nonsense. He was just
they're just messing with you.
Look, it's like shooting fish in a barrel,
right?
Plus,
they know you're the type of guy that's in that car, so they just want to mess with your
Most
night.
of the times, they ran the place. They make me come out. You know how many times I walked?
Right.
You know how many times I did the stupid A, B, C, D, your grandmom's name? Okay. What's your dog's name? All right.
Really?
Of course. Listen, it's an opportunity, bro. It's a Saturday night.
Right.
They're going to pull you out. They're going to touch your toes.
9 times out of 10, somebody's drinking.
Yeah.
And then they would be like, when they realized nothing, and they would check my record. I was clean, and they'd be like, all right, get out of here.
Yeah.
Damn it. And that would be it. But when I parked the BMW and I got the work van,
all that went away.
I went almost. I had the work van in 2013, so probably like a good 5 years. And I got the one time I got pulled over was at a checkpoint because the sticker, the registration,
right.
Not the registration, the inspection sticker. But those commercial trucks don't have to have registration anymore. That was the only time. They don't care.
I experienced the same thing, man. Like, my first car was a little burgundy Honda Accord. All these guys remember that vehicle. But I used to have a little Puerto Rican flag hanging in the window like an idiot.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that was like, Jake had one too in his Nissan. And that was like a calling card to get pulled over.
It was.
You know?
Yeah.
And like after that, I got the Del Sol, which wasn't like hooked up. It was just a black Del Sol, regular, the stock wheels on it, no rims or nothing. and I would get pulled over all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, like driving Subarus and like
Right.
Chevy, the Equinox stuff, never get pulled over.
He's
It's
like, I'm trading this in. Honey, can I drive your car?
yeah.
These mom vans.
Yo,
I used to get it when I used to drive the Magnum.
The Magnum.
All the time.
Right.
All the time.
But let's be honest, right? So we asked for it, but there's profile going
Oh,
on.
absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. But that's the thing. Like the Magnum profiling is, we know that's the black car,
most
right?
people.
Or like if it's like a Lincoln Town car or like a Impala. But the Del Sol was white boy racers or Asians.
racers,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? So I would give and the
Is that Blake Griffin in there?
Accord was broke Puerto Rican guy, probably got weed in the car.
Right.
Because I used to get pulled over and searched like
all the time.
You know what I mean?
Damn it. Right. No, I really do think, like I said, the thing is this. I truly loved cars and engineering and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I realized that you're wearing a uniform when you wear that. You're wearing you are signaling a certain type of attention.
Right.
And that's what it was.
And it may not be fair, but it's also like you got to figure.
You have to understand the world you live in.
Police are doing a job, and they it's just like your customer base. Like they get
It's
accustomed
easy money.
to
It's
like
easy money for them.
where their stops pay off, and they know the type of vehicles to look out for. They know.
Listen, they're profiling.
Yeah.
They and listen, they really they may catch a big fish, but a lot of times it's your license expired.
Yeah.
Your register is out of due. Like that's really what it is. But you're still paying. You know.
Yeah.
That's what it is. But all of that, like I said, all of those things led me to really slow down. I stopped going out and I started to really say, all right, I'm going to make a change in my life, in my lifestyle, and refocus my energy. And I think sometimes the quietness of no friends, because remember I didn't have a phone.
Right.
I got rid of a phone.
Yeah.
I was
They had a flip phone.
Right. And I think that rebalanced my thinking process. I think if you tune out a lot of what's happening, you will see. I was doing a lot of running. I'm doing a lot of like walking and stuff like that. Just processing things.
Got into bike riding a little
Yeah,
bit.
that's right. And it put me back on the right track. I think that's what it is. I think we need. You have to be as a man. You have to be introspective.
But how is that any different from like somebody else? Doing all this craziness, and then they just think about it and like, maybe that's not for me. Let me get my life together. Let me read some books. Let me get married. You know what I mean? And not do those things anymore. Like in terms of like, how is that any different? It's like, how is the book The Secret any different from like Christianity? You know what I mean? Like, how are these things any different? Do we need God for that? You know what I mean? There's so many people who don't.
Right.
They do what you do, but they don't have no relationship.
No, I do understand the human will is an amazing thing. And there have been people who are not necessarily believers who have turned their life around. There's been an example of it. But for me, it was more, God was a part of my life. It's just that I started to lose faith in the organized form of religion.
Right.
And because I didn't know where to go, I didn't know who to trust, I had to almost rely on myself. I still believed in God, but I didn't have that one-on-one relationship with God. Give me insight. What I was focusing on was to meet God, I needed to go to this guy or this church, and I needed to see theatrics because that gave me the feeling, because that's what I was raised in. Through all of this, that's what I was telling you. I was going on the path of conspiracy theories and all stuff like that. When I stopped and I asked, I said, what's my purpose? What do I want to do? And I started, and I feel like by taking that quiet time, God started to speak to my heart and say, this is what you need to do. You need to cut that out. You need to close that world.
So you're saying you, in that quiet time, you called out to God.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, I my whole world of going to church and all that
Right.
stuff like that.
It took for you to
Yes.
separate from that first. It took
Yes.
for you to kind of be introspective first in order to then
Right.
open yourself up to hear from God
Right.
about what needed to be done. Which
Right.
I think people that head down that road are at least moving in the right direction. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there you still can get swept up in other things.
Right.
You know what I
right.
mean?
Because I want to add one thing before you go on. I did
Right.
go to Church of Christ,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if you know about this.
No.
I met a guy while remodeling. And he's like,
You
and he
tried some
recruited me.
Scientology stuff.
No, not Scientology, but they're like they're part of the Reformation movement.
Okay.
Are you guys familiar with the
Like
Reformation
New
movement?
Age.
No, so the Reformation movement came during the era of Joseph Smith. It was the Branhamites, the Smithites,
Yeah.
the Elites, the Jameites, the
Yeah.
Jakeites, the Monites. It was like whatever guy came along. It was like that. Back in that time, when Joseph Smith came up with the tablets thing, there was something that was happening in the United States, which was like all of these. They basically started forming all of these little subsects of religions. So it was like
These dudes realize I
Yes.
can get a lot of bitches if I make a
I'm sure that was part of it. So there was a lot of that. So Church of Christ came out of that. I met this guy, and I was working on this project with him, and he's like, "Man, you're a good guy, man. You're like, you married?" I was like, "You're not married?" "No, man, I'm not married." What are you doing? And he started really taking an interest in me. "Man, you should come to my church, man." I said, "Okay." I started telling him. I also started voicing my. I was like, church, they're all about money and healing and miracles. I was really bitter, and he was like, "We don't do that. It's not about that." And I went to the church, and it was like a gym in a church, and they ran up to me, "Hey man, welcome." They called me right away. It wasn't about the pastor's birthday's coming up. We need a bike for him in the gym. How many of y'all here believe that the pastor need to look good? So I immediately was like, yeah. And they started they got together. It was it was smaller. It was more. The men got together to pray. Hey James, tell us about your day or whatever it is. And I was like, this is nice.
Right.
And
it sounded like the same way they recruited the nation people. Like
right.
You know what I mean? People that experienced something that they were upset with, and then they come in and they see a different
confusion.
structure. Yeah,
it was confusion, right? So,
but go ahead.
So that happened for a while, and then now this is where dad came in and told me, be careful. But I was so like, nah, man, because they have a chapter in Philly, and it was a big church, and they knew my name.
Wow.
The elders were like, "Hey James, great to meet you. Finally, we've been hearing good things about you." And I was like, "Man, this is awesome,"
That's crazy.
So I continued with that, and then they said, "Hey,
I've never heard about this.
I never
before.
told you this?
No, this is amazing to me.
All right. So I continued to have the brother who was like ahead of my little circle. He was in Lawnside. So him and I would get together. We would read, and he would break things down. He would be like, "Well, this is what this means. This is what that means." I would ask him like, "What about like Genesis 6? Or what about this? Or what about that?" And he would say, "Okay, well, let's go back here and let's look at this." And he would explain, like he didn't just do like, "Well, you've got to trust in the Lord, alloweth the kingeth of the forth. Read the Bible and get out of here." Like he didn't do that. He didn't dismiss me.
Why he just sound like it was like one of those recorded Bible apps.
You like my voice there?
Get James on some voiceover.
Right. So he didn't dismiss me, which I was like immediately like, because I was expecting to be like, "Well, we're not there yet."
Right.
Because that's what would happen. And because he started to like really, and he's like, "Okay, well, let's go back here and let's look at this." And he really was an amazing teacher. He would break things down. He's like, "You have to look at it from this standpoint. You have to see this and do that." He was really an amazing teacher. The man was, and he was really good at certain things. Like when I would come to him with certain ideas, he'd be like, "Great idea." He's like, "But now let's go." He's like, "Don't run with that because sometimes you trip over that. Let's focus on this." He's like, "And let's see if we can make that idea even better." And I loved it. I was like, meanwhile, my dad and I are like,
going,
so I was already confused. So then they said, all right, well, listen, you have to become a member.
Oh.
I said, all right.
Want to be a member?
I liked it. I said, all right. And they said, do you have a girlfriend? I said, yeah. I just started dating Shaniqua.
Oh, okay.
So I said,
James
yeah.
got secrets, boy. I didn't know about none of this.
I never told you this.
No, man.
Really?
Good.
So they were like, is she
Black?
in this? Do you like white women? I did. We have to exercise some demons.
So they wanted you to recruit her now. You had to
No,
get
they
her.
asked me about her and they asked if she's a member. I said, no. They're like, ooh. They're like, because I knew one of the girls from the church
so they
was
said
Whitney.
we have someone for you already.
Right. Whitney was a former high school friend of mine.
Yo, this is Midsummer. You
Yeah.
ever watch? Did you
No, I
watch
never watched
Midsommar?
it.
Yo,
So-
that movie's freaking nuts.
So then they were like, the pastor himself, who was really, his name was James too.
Yeah.
He called me, he said, I want to have lunch with you. I said, sure. He said, so we talked and everything, carpentry, woodworking. He would be interested. And he said, so I understand you have a girlfriend. I said, yeah. He said, is she a believer? I said, yeah, she's a believer. And at this time, Shaniqua had been going to a church called Connect. It was like I call it the White Rocker Church.
Oh,
It was
I see. They got like a billboard.
Yeah. So, but I went in there one time with her, and we go in, and it's like everybody's in like cut shorts and like
They're hipstered out.
jeans, like hair over the face. Lord God, you are mercy. I was like, what is this? I got on Converse. It's just like, so
then the pastor comes out. Hey guys, we're going to talk about
guys,
Jesus.
rock
and you
on
know
out.
I'm cool because I got Converse on.
yeah, I got on a tight shirt. Rock out for Jesus. And I was standing there like, and Shaniqua was like, and I was like,
What do you think? What you think?
no.
You like it?
So they tried to get you to. So they wanted you to either. They had someone for you already. Because
No,
sounds
they
a
didn't,
lot like.
they didn't tell me they did, but they pretty much after because they realized I resisted. They're like, "Do you in love with her?" I was like, "Well,
Yeah.
I'm not in love." I said, "But I do like her." I said,
Yeah.
"I intend to go further with her," and they're like,
We're gonna need you to drop that.
So they started to introduce that. Well, is she truly a believer, James?
Yo, this sounds just like I'm not gonna say the name, but this sounds like someone we know.
I was
Situation.
thinking-
Oh God, I hope
Same
Shaniqua's now.
situation.
Shaniqua's probably like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, no, but I'm saying like this
Right.
this story sounds so similar.
Right,
Like
right.
the young guys that come.
Yeah.
Jake, why do you have to
know what
ask
I mean?
deep questions? You're like the Dr. Phil of this group. So tell me why you. So
Let's get to the root of this, James.
you seem to be the problem here.
So, yo, but
Talking
y'all never
about
saw
carpentry.
Midsummer.
I never seen
I
it.
think
No.
I've seen it.
It's the movie about the dude takes all his friends to like some remote place in Sweden or something.
Oh, that's the new Jordan Peele one.
It was Jordan Peele produced.
Producer.
It.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I haven't seen it.
That movie is
Dude,
nuts.
That is hard. I you know what I did? I just went through it. Like,
just, like,
literally like
skimmed
just
through it?
scrolled through it because I could not take
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
It was hard.
But that was like one of the premises of the movie. Is
Right.
like
Maybe not that deep.
no, it was definitely, but it just sounds like culty. You know
Liz,
what I mean?
Liz, you know your brother was involved in a cut his penis off and everything. I don't know how Sophia got here.
This is what's Wow Wow Country. Like that's
Yeah.
what the freaking trailer
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
The,
Wild Wild
the
Country
promo photos
for
look like.
albino white people. Like, that's what it is. And he
Yeah.
but it ends up you out. All right, man. Yo, take a look at this. Take a look at this Buddhist right here, man. Look at this. Yo, come say what's up. Look, this guy's
We
been on
love
the
you
podcast
too, Gina.
so many times.
Good night.
And now you got to see this transformation right now. Look. Show the camera right here. This guy.
just sit on the table, cross your legs.
This guy is
He looks like Eddie Murphy from an what's that?
a golden child.
The Guru movie.
Oh yeah. No, but this dude, like, he's he's a different person from the first time he came on this podcast. Like that conversation that we had the first time he came here, he's a different person.
Yeah, he looked like he lost some weight too.
Yeah, he definitely did. Cause he's eating
all
bird
he
seed all
uses-
day. He eating bird seed and
Bird seeds and mangoes.
Yo, so
26 mangoes.
let me
for
ask you
breakfast.
though. Did you cut out Did you eat them mangoes?
Nah, I didn't eat them mangoes. Oh no, I gave some mango. Well, I had some for Peter, but they went bad and shit. And I gave some to Dave and what's the name? Some to Copes and I got.
This dude had 1,000 mangoes in his refrigerator.
I got the dates.
You got the date? Did you get the
I got the dates.
the figs?
Figs was nasty.
You ain't like the figs?
Hell no, I got the dates.
Oh man, see you ain't about that
I'm
life.
in now. I only eat for the last like month or so. I eat dates, walnuts, and kale. That's all I've been eating for the last month.
That's it.
That's it.
Walnuts,
And
kale, and dates.
Water out of copper.
And water out of copper. Like he gets his water. He gets his Fiji water and puts it in. And puts it in copper containers to like purify it. Yeah, and he sleeps. This dude, he got no furniture in his house. The furniture in his house. Oh, we lost camera. The only furniture in his house is the stripper pole. and then he got a bed, but then he got his little meditation bench right in front of the window, so you could look out the window.
While I meditate.
Yeah.
That was a game. This is real life shit.
All right, man.
Yo, he's totally on some other shit.
And I went to the gym. I ain't been to the gym in forever, years. I just went to the gym the other day. Started going back to the gym, and I benched 225, 15, almost 16 times.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah, you feel me?
The power. That kale giving you strength, bro.
You feel me? That shit's crazy. You ain't lift like I don't lift that and long. I ain't lift basically like nothing like that since high school. That was 230. Even out of high school, when I was going to the gym, I would only play around with like 135, 145. I said, man, let me try this shit real quick. Before I threw that shit up like 15, almost 16 times.
Wow.
Damn.
I'm saying, yeah, motherfuckers play with me if you want.
All right, man. Take it easy. Where's we at? So they tried to recruit you,
man. Listen here, interviewer guy.
All right, hold that down 1 second. So I've lost camera 2.
Okay.
So we're on y'all right now.
Okay.
For a minute.
What I would do is just unplug it and plug it back in right there.
Right here,
Yep,
I did.
Okay.
And then I did here.
And still don't have it.
So
okay.
I'm working on it.
Okay,
I didn't hear anything about the story either, man.
Yo, so where did it all go wrong for you? Like,
well, they pretty much tried to get me to get rid of Shaniqua.
Right. And they and eventually they would probably find you someone in their church.
In their church.
So what was the whole thing with that church? Like, what did they believe? To be a true believer.
No, hold up though. Like they didn't try to recruit Shaniqua too. I'm sorry to.
Yeah. Why would they?
Yeah.
Not
So they did. They did a little bit.
Okay.
But she was good. She was like, no, I'm good. I'm just here to support him. Well, she thought that I found another girl because I messed up and I this is where I feel bad because I came back and told her that
they had someone for you.
No, well, all right. Shaniqua, Dad and I went to a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
I was walking out, and there was 3 other women from the church there. So they see her and they say, "Hi, is this your sister?" I said, "Oh no, this is not my sister. This is my girlfriend."
Yeah.
So, but I didn't pick up on the energy. Shaniqua did,
of course.
So I was just like, "All right, well, it's nice seeing you."
Nice seeing you.
And Shaniqua was like, "Who though? Who are they?" You know, I was like, "Oh, they're in
just some women I met in the restroom."
So, you know, of course that bothered her.
Yeah.
She was like, "Well, I got to go. I got to see this church."
Oh, so then she was motivated.
Right. And then she came.
Make an appearance.
Right. So through that process, they wanted me to join, and they needed me to be baptized through there.
Right.
Right. Because when I was baptized, I was 8 or 9.
Yeah.
So they were like, "Well, you couldn't make a decision at that point in time, so you would have to do this as an adult." And I was like, "Okay, well, all right."
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, I was like, all right, man, all right, cool. I went with it, but then they really started pushing it home. They're like, "Have you ended the relationship yet?" And I was like, "No." They were like, "Why not?" I was like, "Well,
wow,
you know, Shaniqua's a good girl."
Dude, it sounds a lot like.
She?
And they were like, "Well, we would prefer." And then I went and I told Shaniqua. So they said that we're unequally yoked, and I said it in such a way that she told her mother, and that kind of, and I understand now. I was like, well, that wasn't good. The way I said it, you know what I'm saying, it made it look So of course, like that hurt her feelings, and I was like, I couldn't come back from that.
Yeah.
So, but then I realized that they're really pushing this. They're like, you gotta get rid of her. I was like, well,
they already had your mate picked out for you, bro.
Probably.
He was gonna do some whole ritual with you in the back, and you was gonna be
Audra. So long story short, man, I started doing some research about them.
Mm-hmm.
So, I did some research and I found out that they believe that if you die and you've not baptized with them, or you're not a believer in them, everyone's
going to hell.
So my mom's in hell, my dad's going to hell, but that's why you have to go get them.
Right.
So sorry, your mom's
so
lost.
you get saved and you can go to hell and get them out of there.
No.
Oh,
I'm saved. I'm saved. I'm good. I got to go get the living. But my mom is forever lost.
Okay.
She was never
I thought
baptized.
you was gonna
Only way to be
turn you into
saved.
Spawn, and you can go down there, whoop some ass, get them up out of there.
Right. Only way to be saved
That would be
is to be
crazy.
baptized.
Yeah.
That's it. You have to be baptized.
And they believe that after you're baptized, all your sins are done away with.
Right.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? And now you're in.
Yeah, you're just
like-
floating.
Right.
You're in the kingdom.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah. So after that,
That's the surface level. Once you get
Right.
deep in, you know how these places
I'm
work.
sure. But like I said, what I admired was their Bible studying was amazing.
They have to be.
Just
like
Because they know they have to be, because that's the only way they're going to recruit. That's the only way they're going to like pull people away.
that's the same thing with Jehovah's Witness,
Dude.
Baptist. Like
That happened to my mom. My mom had Jehovah's Witnesses coming to our house for weeks,
Right.
like for a couple months, right? When we were kids.
And you don't know how to say no. You're like,
Right.
I'm busy.
Yeah,
You don't know how to say no.
yeah.
But she was at the same place I think you were at, where it's like
Yeah.
she was seeking and she was going through all of this weird like questioning from the past and like churches that she belonged to.
Right.
So they just found her at the opportune time.
Of course,
and they
course.
came in with a little more knowledge.
No doubt.
And
No
then
doubt,
it's
yeah.
able to.
But it's
just-
like that's the thing. It's always like knowledge in terms of how they hold it over you so that you come in.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
right.
Which is that's the trick.
Right.
Like how can they hold this knowledge over you
Right.
to get you in?
Knowledge is power.
Right.
Remember we did that NAACP commercial back in the day?
Oh yeah, shit.
Knowledge is power. Remember that?
Years later.
Forgot about that,
Years
didn't
later. Why we gotta support black man? Can it be orange, brother? Yellow.
Right? Yo, I remember Hugh Douglas was there, remember?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Moan was geeking out.
Yeah, he sure was.
Was I?
That's another giant dude, Hugh Douglas.
I know.
But, yo, it's always fun hearing these James stories. I had to do the whole segment, Stories with James.
But listen,
That was one I never heard before, though.
Yeah.
That was, I knew nothing about
that
this.
happened like the first year we dated.
Yeah, I didn't know.
The first year we dated. You know?
Yeah, I think
You
you were
knew about
busy
the
telling
church
me a
in
bunch of other
Christ.
stories.
Yeah. But all of those things, what it was I was angry, I was confused. I didn't know who to turn to. I mean, you and I weren't as close
Right.
as we became.
Well, I think on that we talked a lot about conspiracies, and like
yeah.
documentaries and stuff, but
Yeah.
we never really ventured down that road.
Yeah. And I didn't have a computer at the time.
Yeah, you did when
Did
you
I?
first started dating Shaniqua. Yeah.
Oh, I did. That's
Come
right.
on.
That's true.
That's how y'all met.
That's
So-
right. That is true.
I don't know. Just reading some of the stuff. So Church of Christ is kind of Mormonism in a way.
It's Mormonism light.
Yeah, because there's three witnesses.
Diet Mormonism, if you will.
There's three witnesses of Mormonism, and so it's one of the witnesses.
Yeah.
that started that
It's
church.
one. It's
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's not like the full.
No. It's not the full thing. It's not the full thing. And they allowed blacks. Mormonism didn't allow blacks
At first, yeah.
At first.
Yes.
But
Now you can be a servant.
Yeah.
We knew some black Mormons when we
Right,
were
right.
in LA, and we were like, how?
But I want to. This is more. I want to propose this to y'all. All of that, me, came out of the confusion of what the modern church was and
Right.
is.
Right.
My heart was in the right place,
Mm-hmm.
but because I grew up in this thing.
Yeah.
But when I had questions, I was just told to
Shut up. Don't ask questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are you asking that question?
Right.
You know what I mean? So it led to confusion. I was trying to seek. I wasn't like in there like I'm gonna start some shit today.
Yeah.
I wasn't like I was genuinely trying.
It wasn't
No.
out of just being a contrarian or rebellious.
No.
It was
I
like-
feel like I really wanted to. Like I told you guys, when that guy said to me, "Speak in tongues," and I was like,
Thunder, thunder.
I couldn't. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
what it does is this: I could have faked it,
Right.
and sound like everybody else, but I didn't.
Right.
And I
being
felt
honest with yourself, it was more important for you to be true and honest in that moment than to just fit in with the crowd. I remember that having that same moment
Right.
in a certain church that we all kind of were at a certain point,
Right.
where it was like those things where they make you go to the front and they pray for you and they want you to fall over,
right.
and I just remember like not feeling like I needed to fall over, but they had someone behind me just pull me to the
Yeah,
ground.
right,
like,
right.
you gonna go down. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Put your John
you ain't
Jones
gonna
in.
play our pastor out. It was like one of them things. You know
Right,
what I mean?
right, right.
And you kind of just go with it, like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
okay. But in the moment, I'm like being honest with myself, like this is not real.
Right.
You know
And
what I mean?
it's a predictable, forced outcome.
Yeah, like he comes up and hits you on the
Right.
head, like be blessed, and everyone's
Right.
You
But
know?
that
Jamie's still
doesn't-
standing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that doesn't take away from something that can happen like that,
No, that's true.
or speaking in tongue. You know what I mean? Like,
No, it's not. But at the same time, they're making it seem as if you truly are, then that's what you need to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I completely surrendered that day. I went up on my own.
Mm-hmm.
I did, and while sitting there, I felt the Spirit move, and
Mm-hmm.
I felt it. But what happened was when I went back, and they were like, "Now we need to see the signs."
Right. We need you to prove it to us, basically.
Right.
That you feel the spirit right now.
That's where it led
Right.
to confusion. Was I completely surrendered? I went up. I felt. I was 18 years old. I listened to the message. My heart was moved.
sang
It-
Thundercats.
That was that
Sang Thundercats.
after.
Yeah.
My heart was moved. I felt genuine in that moment, and I went up and completely surrendered. But it's getting back there where they have their protocol to prove, and that's what you know what I mean.
That's the religion. Like, that's.
But I'm 18. I don't know that. I'm
Yeah,
like, you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
It to you is just more of the same that you've seen growing up. Where
Yeah.
it's like every time you're looking
Yeah.
for something real, it
Yeah.
becomes this whole like
Right.
show for everyone else.
Right,
Where it's
right,
like that
right.
becomes more important than
Right.
actual God
Right.
moving.
It's almost like I need you to see it for me to believe.
right.
Right.
I need you to do it so I can believe.
Or so we can
you know?
show everyone else that they should
Right,
believe.
right.
You know,
and
what I mean?
but the thing is, around me there were people acting out.
Right.
You know,
I mean,
you know.
that doesn't take away that people can,
Right.
You never know.
Right.
But then you have that aspect of people pushing you into, because
But-
we both went through that. Like
Yeah.
same thing. Like
Yeah.
prayed over me and like
Yeah.
pushed me
Right.
down. I'm
Yeah.
like, I didn't go fall down myself.
Right.
right.
And then put
Not-
a blanket
put
over
a blanket
me. I'm
over
like,
you. Like,
I want to get up now. Like,
is it night time?
It's
What
12.
is
It's
it?
12 midnight.
Right.
Hello. I got rehearsal.
Were you there that day?
No.
You weren't there that day? Yeah.
Moan was at the KFC with the guy robbing. I should have gone to church.
but it doesn't take away that you can still that doesn't mean that everything there is fake.
No,
You know what I
no,
mean?
no.
Because we still felt the presence of God. It's
Right,
still,
right. I feel like the purity in my heart, that was genuine. But there are some theatrics that come with certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And because they're so pre-programmed to be like, that's the thing, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for this result.
Give it to us. Yeah.
I mean, in terms of I know, in terms of speaking in tongues, there is an evidence of that. Like, in terms of
I'm not doubting that.
but you can't push that.
Yeah.
And you get into that place where people want to what
I was gonna make a joke because Evan's crew just started watching. I said, Leslie, want to make sure you. She was like, "Is he coming home sometime soon?" She's checking in, like, "Are they almost done? What is going on?"
Yeah, there is that point of like people want to push to show themselves or show others.
Right.
You know?
Well, what was eerily? Am I saying that word right?
Eerily. Yep.
Similar was when I got introduced to Cutco knives.
This is another great one. Yes.
When I met them, and
I think me and James were probably at the same training too, because we were both around the same age.
In Cherry Hill, was it Cherry Hill?
Yeah, it was in Cherry Hill.
Okay.
And this is my mom set me up though.
Right.
How did you find out about it?
A teacher.
Okay.
A teacher said, "Hey, I saw this."
So this was back during the time when like there was this whole industry of like basically tricking people into these companies would sell their product by convincing you that you could sell their product, right? Mm-hmm. And this knife company was one of them. Mm-hmm. So go ahead and tell us.
Yeah, I got. She said, "Hey, I saw something that I think would be good." And it was like $19 an hour.
They rope you in with a high hourly wage. That
you're talking $19.99.
And you're like, how are they going to pay me this?
$19.99. BMW M3, here I come. Pew, pew. And I ran over there. I got on my little Dockers, my little thing. No experience necessary.
Yep. You come in and there's a bunch of people and they bring in someone who's like basically a motivational speaker.
Yeah.
And they come in and get you all hyped up about the company and how you can make all this money and what you're going to do.
Right.
And all you got to do is, and they make it seem so easy. And then they separate all of you and they try to make you feel like the special one. Mm-hmm. They interview you separately and then they call you in one by one and they're like, all right, now everyone's not going to get this position. We can't fill it for everybody, but we feel like there's something about you. You're going to be the one. Like we can see you being our shining star.
I like it.
Now, all we're going to need from you is to buy your set of knives so you can go around and sell to everybody
else. How much you say?
Now,
$700?
That's going to be $700.
Jeez, I don't have $700. I was hoping you'd pay me $700.
So that's how they make their money is they trick the employees into buying all the knives.
Yeah.
You
That's
know
exactly what happens.
So I remember being there, and I was watching this go down, and I'm like, yo, this is a big-ass hustle. Mm-hmm. And I started seeing them call everyone in one by one, so I started, when they did it to me, I went up to somebody like, yo, what'd they say to you? He said that same thing he said to me, and I'm like, okay, this is a hustle. So I just left. And I never went back.
And I said, look at that light skinned guy out there. He ain't gonna be nothing without, you know what I mean?
No motivation.
You see what I'm saying? This is the problem right here. He don't buy black.
He said, see, driving a burgundy Accord with a Puerto Rican flag. Look at him, earrings,
clothes way too big for him.
I'm gonna show him. I'm gonna get rich off these knives.
No, he did motivate me.
And how many knives did you sell?
I did sell a few, but I never sold the amount that they.
Right.
I did take it seriously.
To make the hourly wage that they promised you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hi, I'm black guy in white neighborhood selling knives. No. All right. No. Just you think your name? Okay. All right. Hi. I'm Dominican guy.
Unassuming black guy here with a pack of knives to sell you. Don't be alarmed.
Hi, good evening.
Got this knife here.
Let me ask you a question. Do you like knives?
I have the sharpest ones on the market.
I know. I went back and I talked to him. He's like, no, James. He's like, the problem is you don't have to sell the knives. You have to sell yourself. You need to sell yourself. I was like, right. Sell myself. Sell myself. Knives. Sell myself. Got it. Remember that light skinned guy that left? Sell myself. So I did. I did sell a couple.
Yeah.
But I think it was like who I sold it to was like older people who just needed to talk.
Mm-hmm.
They just wanted to be like, oh, it's a knife.
Wow, look at you.
Look at it.
Look at you.
And I would have I had a little thing with a tomato in it.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, our knives are formed for the palm. So you could just slice that. There's no thing. You just tuck your hand right there and you know. I was good at it. You know what I mean?
Yo, that is a funny story.
man.
And I sold a few, man.
I love
Stuff
that.
we
Story.
Those
do.
knives are still in his drawer.
They still
See,
there.
that
Still
bastard
not-
is benefiting from my hard work right there.
Are they good
They
knives?
are good knives, though.
knives?
They are good knives,
Wow.
but it was a scam, bro. Like, I remember I left there. I went back home. Because my mom's the one who gave me.
Right.
My mom always falls for that stuff. It was in the paper.
Right.
Like, so she saw it. Oh, and I think this is right after I quit Walmart, which was like the worst job I ever had in my life. So I quit Walmart. And mom was like, "Oh, I found this ad for this job. I was paying so much money. You know, Walmart was paying me like $8 an hour."
And they put 19 bucks
Yeah.
in bold.
Yeah, right,
Like,
right.
wow, 19 bucks.
So when I got home, I
$19.99.
was like, "Man, mom, that place was a scam."
Right.
She was like, "Really?" But it's just funny.
She's like, why do you say that?
I'm guarantee
A
you
Dominican
we both-
guy just came and tried to sell me some knives. I didn't buy it though. Too expensive. He had a spiel.
Yeah,
But I ended up getting stuck with the knives.
yeah.
You know.
Cutco.
Yeah, Cutco, man.
Even the name sounds like some shady shit from like a cartoon or something, right?
Yeah,
Like
it does.
it sounds like a package Bugs Bunny would open up. Cutco knives.
But you know, I did truly try.
Yeah.
I did make an attempt. One thing
Yeah.
I sucked at was the telemarketing thing. I couldn't do that. I tried
Yeah.
that. I did that for 2 weeks.
I feel like so many of those we did telemarketing, but there was
Yeah, I was
there
terrible
was
at
that
it, too.
era where those businesses, those pyramid
Yeah.
scheme businesses.
Well-
Remember that one that Orlando was
Oh,
trying
yeah.
to get us all into?
It was
went to
1996
a few houses with
to
Orlando.
1999.
Yeah.
And early 2000, it ran.
There was one like semi-wealthy black dude that was like recruiting all these young dudes to get into this pyramid scheme business. It was one of those businesses where like you sell people with generic brand products of the same. It's like, you know what I mean? They had a
Yeah.
million of
Right,
those.
right. Do you use Tide?
Yeah.
Dad did one of them.
Have
That
you heard
did
of-
one of them. Yes.
Have you heard of Mide?
Yeah.
Same thing.
Right, same thing.
You
It's
gotta
made in the
sell
same
that.
factory.
Same
Now, our
ingredients.
bottle has no label on it, and it's just white.
Right.
But you're gonna have to sell this to people and make them think it's the
Hi,
same.
ma'am. Do you use my? Hi, ma'am. Do you use my? Hi, ma'am. Do
And
you...
then it's like it's always like if
Door slam.
you can recruit your friends to come in now, you move.
Oh, that
up
was the big
the
sell.
hierarchy, yeah.
Right.
So that's why Orlando caught himself trying to get all of us to sign up for this thing,
Yeah.
thinking that he's gonna get rich. You know what I mean?
Right,
it was
right.
it was
Right.
a
But
bunch
that spoke to something, which was, it's in us. The desire is we want money.
Right. And they would always use the dude, like he would pull up in a Ferrari or something. Or they have like the video presentation where the
Right.
dude's next to his Ferrari.
Right.
Want to know how I got this? Selling Mide to old folks.
Right.
It's like-
They do it on YouTube right now.
They do.
Yeah.
On YouTube.
They do.
On YouTube, there's always this guy. He's like, just me.
yeah.
Stand next to this Ferrari.
Yeah.
I got
tired
a
of
pool.
this. Yeah.
Naked girls.
Yeah.
Do you want to be like me?
Yeah.
And guys are like,
I
I
love
want to be like you.
Like, who makes a video walking through their whole house and showing off their cars?
Right,
Like, it's like a
right.
selfie video, but I'm going to walk through every hallway in my
Right.
house, every room,
That's
go
my-
outside to the pool and be like,
And it only attracts men. It
Yeah.
only attracts men.
exactly. Because men are like, oh, I can get that too?
Right.
Then I'll get all the women.
But yeah, it is really, I think that's what it was. It was after that, I recognized that, all right, I need to get like, and that's why I became so good at security, because that was legit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I started doing loss prevention and I was really good at catching shoplifters, I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
You thought you was going to work your way up the corporate ladder.
I thought, man, you know, I said, listen, I'm going to try it. But whatever I did, I felt like I always put myself, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I felt like
Put
I
your all
always,
into it.
yeah, I was like, you know, I immersed
but
myself
that's what
into it.
I think that when you have that mentality, no matter what,
Yeah.
it always benefits you.
Oh,
in
it
the long
translates.
run.
It does. It does. You know, even with woodworking, man. Like, you know, what I don't have what my dad, or I didn't have what my dad has, but he doesn't have what I had.
Right.
And I think, you know, back to what we were saying about, I think if you dedicate yourself and you become good at your craft, the rewards will come. It may not come when you want it to or exactly how you want it to, but eventually it plays out.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, man. Cool. I think we're going to leave it there. We've been going pretty long, 2.5 hours.
Good message, James.
Yeah, man, it was a good one. Appreciate you guys for watching. Everyone who's stuck in there, I don't think there's many. It was a long one. It's late. Make sure you go check out the Patreon, patreon.com/YoungLionTV, merch on Jatan.com, music on Jatan.com. Follow James, Mr. Build Right on Facebook. Like his page. Hire him from some work. Follow Rachel Rhoda on Instagram. And follow us, Jatan, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and also Young Lion TV on Instagram. And TikTok, too. We just started TikTok, getting that going, too. But appreciate y'all. See y'all next week.
Peace.
Young lion, go live, yeah. Young lion, you rich, yeah. This kingdom has room, yeah. Go and fight people in.